yeah.
Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. It will likely contain strong language and adult themes. So let's see, we've got Amiga Nuts and Mindful of Health.
Yay.
And I've got there, need to mute the YouTube. So how's everybody doing here? Faye was just telling me that she just got a couple of kittens.
Oh, yeah. They're my birthday present.
Yep.
As well as the cat food and the cat litter.
What kind of cat food do you have for them?
Well, not a brand that I'm particularly fond of. I'm going to have to switch it as soon as I can.
I highly recommend the Iams brand. That's what I've fed all of my cats for about the last 15 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to go for. I prefer something with a little less filler.
Yeah, well, that's the Iams doesn't have nearly as much filler as what you generally get at the supermarkets. And I have noticed that makes a difference that the cats don't eat as much and they don't leave as much in the litter box because they're able to digest more of it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's a win-win. I
unfortunately-
don't have to buy as much food and I don't have to clean the litter box quite as often.
Unfortunately, these guys, I think, are a little bit too young. But the people who were giving them away were really hot on the idea of giving them up.
You think they were taken from their mother too soon?
Yeah, I do. Even though they're big. They're big for their age, but
Generally, they should be with their mother until they're like 10 to 12 weeks old, I think.
I agree. I think 12 weeks, but they didn't get 12 weeks. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I think it can vary a little bit with the breed, maybe by a couple of weeks, but
Well,
I don't know that much about specific breeds.
They're pretty big. It's just their eyes are still blue. And they're definitely on solid food.
Speaking of kitties, I need to step away for a moment because it seems something has happened here and somehow the bathroom door is closed and that's making Sammy unhappy, so just be a second.
I get it. Can't have unhappy cats. So I hope everyone's having a good night tonight. You know, sometimes you just have to take it one day at a time. But I've got a little...
He's actually a very good kitty. He doesn't ask for very much. But in the new apartment here, he seems to especially love the bathroom.
Well, these guys just chowed down, and now they are sound asleep.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it, Sammy likes... This bathroom's got the mosaic tile that's got a bit of a rougher texture. So he likes rolling around in there to scratch his back, but the way he goes about it, I really think it's like, you know, bringing back some happy memories of wherever he lived before I got him.
Oh, really?
He gets just like a kitten when he starts rolling around in there. So I kind of wonder if maybe it's the same kind of tile that was in the room he was born in or something.
Maybe. Or maybe he just discovered he really likes it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just one of his favorite things now is just to roll around on the bathroom floor.
I love cats. They're fun.
Yep.
They are a joy. I'm hoping that, you know, having some furry friends around will make me hate life less. Been going through a lot lately.
Excuse me. Well, I find they help me. Self-preservation is not really one of my stronger suits, so having something else to take care of kind of helps make sure I take care of myself better.
Yeah. Well, these two little guys were the only two adopted today, so.
Yeah, Sammy and Petunia were both from the animal shelter where we used to live.
These aren't a breed, they're just little tigers. And I met both of the parents today. And that was pretty good.
Okay. It can help if you know something about the background, especially whether or not the parents had any kind of medical problems.
They're both abandoned cats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, never quite know what they might run into if they've had that kind of life.
Well, my sister's friend, her boyfriend runs a deli, and people know that she's a sucker for animals. So when they get tired of having pets, they dump them near the deli, and she basically does the trap, neuter, and release thing, but sometimes some of them have babies.
Yeah.
And, she tries to find them homes, but sometimes she can't, depending on the age of the animal. And the mother cat and the father cat were both, he is gorgeous. His markings are so unique. And he's beautiful, and he's shy, but he's friendly. And just a really nice cat. With a huge gaping wound on his side because someone shot him with a BB gun. So, don't be surprised if I do a GoFundMe for this woman for her cat rescue efforts. Because that must have been expensive. He's all stitched up, and she had to talk the vet into taking him because they're like, well, he's feral, so he's gonna be nasty. And she was like, you are going to help him. He's not nasty. He's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you have to argue with vets if they think that they're totally feral, not worth it, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I hate that attitude. I thought they were doctors.
That's what I would have thought.
But yep, this woman is really nice, and she does good work. And I took 2 munchkins today, so.
Yeah. When I went to the shelter, actually, I still had Fiona at that point, and I really felt she needed a companion, so that's what I was looking for. And I knew she wouldn't tolerate a kitten, so I had to get a mature cat.
Mm-hmm.
And
I haven't had a kitten in 25 years.
Yeah, Sammy had been there 6 months, and nobody wanted to take him just because he was 6 years old. Nothing wrong with him. It's just everybody wants kittens.
Yeah, I prefer the older cats, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, so, they told me that he had just, the guy who had owned him had just gotten too old to take care of him, and the family didn't want to be bothered with him.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Yeah, he's a great little companion. Like I say, he's not demanding or anything at all. More than anything else, I only know he wants something because, the bathroom thing, he just sat there staring at the door. He didn't make a sound. If I didn't look over that way, I would have never known something was bothering him. He just sits there and stares at whatever it is he wants until I notice it.
Oh, I've had cats like that. The apologetic, unassuming cats.
Yes. I've several times said that I thought that Sammy was Canadian because he apologizes for everything, even though he never causes any problems.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame that, like, somebody's family wouldn't take in their cat. You know what I mean? Like, that's sad.
Oh, hey, Doorknob Head.
Hey, Doorknob Head, how are you?
Yeah, actually, I just had some sloppy joes, and my system doesn't deal real well with acid, so. Doorknob Head made some comments on that.
Well, surprisingly enough, my 2-hour drive home with kittens in the car was silent.
They slept most of the way?
Yep.
Well, that was good.
I think the motion of the car put them to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
There were no freakouts, no cries, no, where are you taking me?
That had actually been one of my big concerns during the move, was that, Sloth Girl was going to have the two cats in the car with her.
Uh-huh.
And I was afraid they were going to drive her crazy because they were going to be in the car for like 8 hours.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, apparently after about the first half hour, they just settled in and they were okay. I had custom built a big kennel that I purposely, I got some poultry screen, and I just built a kennel that was the largest thing I could possibly fit in the back of my car, just to give them as much room as possible so that, they could have a litter box in there and some comfortable pads. And tall enough so that they could stand up in it.
Of course.
So
my birthday present is early, and it's kittens.
Okay, so when is your birthday?
July.
Oh, okay, quite a bit early.
End of July, too. So very, very, very early, but
Okay.
the flight tickets are canceled, and I'm not going to get to see Alan coming.
Yep.
Which is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But
I know
I
you've
didn't
been looking
expect
forward
it
to
to.
that.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to go through because of COVID, but there was a small hope that maybe they'd find a way, like outdoor or something, anything to make it safe, but they couldn't figure that out. And that's on hold indefinitely.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's like that now, until they can figure out a vaccination or some more effective treatment for the COVID.
It's probably safer for Alan coming anyway, because my sister and I would be sitting there like drooling. We might have filled the theater with saliva, and then he might have drowned. So because he'd be like, "Oh my hottie."
Okay.
Have a bit of a crush.
Here's my pals up in the chair with me now.
My bubbles are so small they can barely be heard. I can't believe I have 2 cats. But I have a lot of free food, and I have a lot of free kitty stuff. So for a while, I won't have any worries. In fact, I think they'll be eating better than me, but Patsy ate better than me, so I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, cats don't cost too much to feed.
No, Vitamins, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we get the one big bag of Iams. That costs like $22, but that feeds both of them for 3 to 4 months.
Oh, excellent. Cat politics. They're lovely. Kicking us out of work. One of our protocols is we can't be at work when the next shift arrives. Have fun, enjoy your food. Are you coming back, Doorknob Head? Maybe. We don't know if Doorknob Head will be back.
Yeah. Well, if they're kicking him out of work, hopefully when he gets home, he'll get back in here with us.
Yeah. So I also got a bag of goodies for my sister. I got little reading glasses, shea butter hair mask, some canned cat food, cute little bag of kitty treats that are supposed to be crunchy, creamy, and bursting with flavor.
Mm-hmm.
A little pumice bar, some face wipes, a bar of Grandpa's soap oatmeal, and I love the Grandpa soap.
Not familiar with that one.
One of my favorite companies to make soap is Grandpa's, and oh, it smells so good. And anyone who knows me knows that if you give me a bar of soap, it's like getting any other woman diamonds.
Ah.
I love soap. And also, she gave me Trader Joe's pink Palemo grapefruit hand soap. And I was at it, and it smells so incredible. And it sounds like my babies are awake.
I thought I heard a squeak back there.
Oh, oh. What is going on? What?
Yeah, there they are.
What? Why? Okay. Come on.
Might be good that I've got the headphones on so Sammy's not hearing them.
Oh, come on. Come on. You get to come too. Because I know if I pick up one and not the other, they complain.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, if I'm in chat and have the speakers on and Sammy hears other kitties on the computer monitor, then he gets up in the screen trying to figure out how to get in there.
Oh, it's okay. Are you awake now? Hi? You're going to be awake for 15 minutes and go back to sleep, aren't you?
Well, they're babies. That's normal.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, Sammy is all furry here because I got the hairbrush for him.
Incredibly cute.
Okay, you'll have to post some pictures.
Oh, yeah. You two are just... Oh, they're so ugly, they're cute. You know what I mean? Like, they still have squashy little faces.
Yeah. A lot of baby animals are like that because things are all out of proportion.
Uh-huh. But ever notice the uglier the kitten, the most extraordinary adults that they become? It's kind of the same with people.
Well,
Ugly
most baby
babies
animals
turn
are
into...
cute.
Yes.
Not quite all, but most of them.
You are one chilled out little guy.
Baby centipedes are not cute.
You are so chill. You might end up being called Zen. Because you are just so relaxed.
You know, I can get that, but when you say that you might call him Zen, my first reference that comes up is Zen was the computer on Blake 7.
And he's going back to sleep.
Yep.
All he wanted was to be held.
Yep. Just wanted to check that there's somebody there going to protect him.
Hi. It's time for snuggles, huh?
It's always a good time for a snuggle.
What about you? You're a little thug, aren't you? You're not as zen. Yeah. The one is so tired, but he was the one who was crying. He wanted to be held.
Yep. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure there was somebody there. Didn't want to be left alone.
Well, he's got a little companion.
Yeah, but it's a scary world when you're that small. You got to make sure there's somebody going to protect them and watch over them while they're sleeping.
I have a feeling I'm not going to sleep tonight. At all. It seems like they wake up every 15 minutes, eat something, and fall back to sleep.
Yeah, well, for babies, that's pretty much their life for a while. That, eat and sleep, and when they get a little older, then they'll start to explore.
I figure. My sister said she'd get them spay, so. Well, actually, neutered. They're 2 little boys.
Yep. So, Amiga, do you have any pets? Any furry roommates?
Oh, oh, oh.
Seems our usual crowd isn't around tonight. Wonder what everybody's up to.
It's been weird. Like, New York's been weird. A lot of people are walking around without masks because Como, he reduced the amount of caution.
Yeah.
And it seems like people think that means the mask time is over, right?
Yep.
No, not at all. It's not. And he's sitting there going, you really gotta like keep up the whole social distancing, but we're relaxing the rules a little bit so
Yep.
we can open up some businesses. Well, New Yorkers hear that and they're like, oh, screw the masks. We don't need those anymore. It's like, we're gonna if you don't put them back on. Do you want to shut everything down again, you little shits?
Hey, Spooky.
Where are you going?
That thing of people getting their streams canceled, apparently claiming copyright things, has been pretty common. Somebody had the theory that sounds plausible to me, that just because YouTube is getting more traffic than they're used to, if they start running out of resources, then the easiest thing for them to do is just can whatever streams are running that have less than 100 people watching. So can't say there's any real evidence for that, but it sounds plausible.
Yeah.
Because I had one of mine last week too, just got canceled in the middle of it, and nobody who was in here talking could even figure out what anybody had said that they would object to. So yeah, I think it's just kind of the thing that YouTube figures if you don't have that many viewers, you're expendable.
Oh, Artie's still awake.
Oh, well, if he's not doing anything, he should get in here.
I think he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Meg, I know what you mean. I get very attached to my guys too. Actually, sometimes I get a lot more attached to animals than I do to people. Well, usually I get more attached to animals than to people.
What?
Because animals I can accept on their own level. People, I usually feel that they could do better on their own if they bothered. So I don't have a lot of patience for just people being stupid.
You want me to give Artie the link?
Yeah, why don't you drop him the link?
Okay.
I dropped it in a group that I know he's in, but he might not have seen it.
Well, it's Artie.
Yep. Yeah, send him a personal invite.
He's alright. I have a hard time keeping up.
Yeah, Spooky.
Well, if you're gonna fall asleep in your litter box, you might as well come into my shirt. Come on.
Spooky, I've had that happen sometimes in here too, that I only had one person watching. So, yeah, there's occasionally been times that I start to wonder why I keep doing this every week, but, then I get a couple of people saying that they would miss it if I wasn't here, so have to keep up the schedule.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna start a cat channel. Oh, don't.
Yeah, well, at least it's something is popular on the internet.
Well, that's the thing. I think there's enough cat channels, but this is more for, like, friends or people who can't have a pet, or, because otters are so much more popular than kittens now.
Yep.
Hey,
Diane.
It's just a thing.
Diane, you're welcome to jump in here too. Did you need a link or did you see one?
Oh, come on. Don't.
We're just talking about our cats tonight.
Oh. Don't be a little asshole.
What?
Oh. Your brother's trying to sleep, you jerk.
Oh.
So I think Artie might be too tired.
Yeah, Spooky said he was going to bed.
That's a shame. Yeah. See? You little scumbag, you woke up your brother.
Yeah, Sammy's falling asleep on my knee now. I brushed him for a little while and he got all purry, so he's all relaxed now. So.
Well, all I know is I'm privileged.
Oh, there we are.
Hello. Hello. Okay, there we go. That's better. Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Tonight you have to bring a kitty to come in here.
Oh, okay. Well, where the hell is she? Is she eating my new fleurs? Oh, there she is. Okay.
I figured she's around there somewhere.
Yes, I heard some kitten noises. I heard.
Yep, Faye has 2 new kittens.
2. Oh my.
The one is Polydactyl.
Oh my. Now, what did Polly have to say about that?
I need a manicure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a piece of work. Don't mind me. Wait a minute. Let me try the other light. Oh.
Yeah.
I gotta do something about the lighting here.
Yeah, I think Sammy was like a polydactyl that the toes didn't completely split. Because each of his thumbs, he's got 2 claws.
Oh, look at you.
So it's like he's got the right number of pads, but he's got an extra claw on each hand.
I was just looking at baby pictures yesterday of this one. When she was about, let me see, half the size she is now.
I'm trying to press the off button. You know how when you rub them between their eyes, they go to sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you are just a wiggle butt, aren't you?
How did you manage to? Lucky you.
It's a birthday present.
Yeah. Sammy's just being a bit clingy because I was out too long today.
You go back to sleep. You go back to sleep.
Me.
Showing you my paws. Showing you my paws.
And then there's this kitty over here. Oh, Lord.
Don't eat each other's faces. That's weird.
Oh, I remember my Miranda and my Ariel when they first came to live with me. They'd be nosing up each other's butts all the time.
I think it's weird when they bite each other's face and it's almost like they're trying to eat the whole face.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, what? We don't want little kitten teeth and eyeballs. No. Oh, your feet are so weird. They
Hi,
are.
amiga, sweetie. And I see Spooky. Well, I see it's up to 7 watching now. Were you down to what? Just you and Faye?
Not quite, but I think for a while it was just Faye and I talking and just Amiga nuts on the side.
Okay, then.
Oh, and mindful
So,
of health.
yeah, well, but Mindful had left, so that was just Amiga for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, it's showing 8, so somebody's hiding there and not saying anything.
Okay, that reminds
But then again, if Doc's at work, a lot of times he's logged in, but if he's busy with people coming in, he doesn't have a chance to say anything.
Okay. Yeah, when you mentioned Beth, she wants me on her stream Saturday. So later on time. I told her that there's no accounting for taste, but
Oh, you gotta stop putting yourself down all the time.
Oh, but it's so much fun.
You just do it to make me mad.
Oh, Bushy, I don't know.
Lay down, little one.
Oh, that's what I was going to do. Yeah, while we're doing this, I'll do that. See how to roast carrots.
Oh, it's easy.
I just need to know how long to leave them on the grill.
Forever.
Because I broke down and bought a grill yesterday, and figure I'll have. I usually hate to do this, but I have a little celebratory thing or something for the Memorial Day. With me, it's usually a very somber occasion, but maybe I'll break tradition.
And I've got 2 sleepy kitties in my shirt right now.
Okay, then. So let me see now. Do you need to get one of those K-cup bras and each kitten can sleep in the 2 cups?
No, I'm just doing a kangaroo pouch.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually had, after I, taking care of an infant, I had one of those baby slings that, I used to carry her around until she got too big for it.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, I wound up actually carrying one of my cats around in it when I was doing stuff.
Yes, I had thought of buying one of those for my Miranda. because she could not bear to be away from me or anything like that. If I'd go shopping or something like that, she'd be a nervous wreck when I got back home. And so I had actually thought of getting one of those slings and just carrying her around up here,
Yeah. I did that with Tasha. I didn't take her any place with that, just around the house and that, but she seemed to get quite relaxed with it.
These little paws are so misshapen.
Oh.
I hope he doesn't have trouble walking. Because it's like the foot in the middle. If you look underneath, it looks split.
Oops.
Almost like he has extra hands.
Yeah, it's generally not a problem for them.
He walks really funny, though. It's one of the reasons why I took him.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure if another person would put up with his feet.
Yeah, I was going to say, you see that, and it's like, okay, nobody else is going to want this one. I might as well, yeah.
Although he is really attractive. The face is good.
Mm-hmm.
The stripes are good. The paws are really screwy. I might have to take him to the vet just to have them look him over.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my stimulus money so I can take this one to the vet.
Yeah, we were supposed to take both of these into the vet when we moved, but yeah, then with the whole COVID thing, we never got to do that. So now that things are easing up, we'll have to see if we can get them in, because it was supposed to be a condition of our lease that they were supposed to, have a vet checkup to verify that they had all their shots and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found out to my joy that Uber takes credit cards, so I think I figured out how I can get the little one to the vet and back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was thinking they were a cash-only thing.
Did you wake up?
Well, these days, there's like that Square thing that basically, anybody can plug into their cell phone to take credit cards.
Oh, okay. I'd forgotten all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically can turn any smartphone into a credit card reader.
The only thing is, a lot of businesses in my area don't take credit cards.
Well, I can imagine there has to be a certain point to which you get before it is feasible, shall we say, to take credit cards, because I guess there are the fees and all this other shit. No?
Yeah, well, there are. I'm just familiar with that from doing online stuff, that if anybody insists on a credit card, I have to, tell them there's going to be extra fees involved with it.
Yeah.
Like most people these days now for online stuff will pay me through PayPal's, which is only PayPal is only like 3%, but some of the regular credit cards can, get up there and be like 10%.
Yeah. And in my understanding, I don't know, have things changed, if you know, where they would charge a membership fee and then a transaction fee and how many others?
In some cases, but more and more they're getting away from that.
Okay.
And like even Sloth Girl got one of those Square readers because she was doing craft shows.
Okay, then.
And there wasn't like any subscription fee or anything for that. I think even with that, it was only like a 3.5% fee.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned the craft shows. I'm all sad because early June, we would usually have the Three Rivers Arts Festival, and that isn't going to happen. It would just be nice to go up there and see what everybody else was doing and making and selling and all that shit.
Yeah.
But
I don't care about anything but these two babies.
You gonna post baby pictures?
I'm gonna have they're gonna get their own YouTube channel.
Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
There's a couple of YouTube channels that I follow. They're just people who do cat rescues. One of them's called Flatbush Cats, and it's all about, they take in street cats in New York.
Oh, that must be
this will be hopefully a kitty cam.
Kitty cam, what? Strap a GoPro to them?
Nope. Just
I've seen that done.
Just keep one of the rooms of my house like live streaming kitty cat.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And that will probably get you an incredible amount of view time.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are people who will just turn that on and leave it on all day.
No, the kitten channels I've seen where these folks take in the pregnant queens, and the queens give birth and they raise the kittens up to weaning and then rehome them, basically. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, so many of them are the really, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're hopped. They seem all hopped up on marijuana. Almost the tree hugger type, if you will. And sometimes it gets a little annoying. But it would be nice to have somebody normal with a kitty channel.
Well, that's me. I'm the tree hugger type, so I am a tree hugger type. I don't do pot.
Yeah, same here.
Hey, babies.
It just seems the pot doesn't really affect me, so it's a waste of money.
Ow! I miss that, being clawed to death.
Yep.
You're so small, but you're painful.
Yep. I've constantly got scratches and punctures all over.
You are gonna fall if you don't stop climbing me. That's skin.
Well, and that's one of the other things about our move is that Petunia seems much calmer here, and she is 30% less bitey.
Oh, well.
It used to go, she would bite me a couple times a day. Now I can go 2-3 days at a time without her biting me.
Well, we just fell down the cleavage, didn't we? Yes, we did. We broke skin. We did. We broke skin. Our first night together, and they break my skin. Oh. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So wait a minute. These guys are brand new. This is night number 1.
I haven't even known them for 12 hours yet.
Okay, then.
I mean, and they're like blue-eyed. This is too soon for me to have adopted them, but the lady who had them was kind of in a rush to get rid of them because they're weaned. And I think they could have used a few more weeks with mommy.
Okay, then.
But, okay. You know what? We're going to put you in the Tupperware box again. I got a great big vat. Come on. No, not until you... We're going to try you in the litter box again. Come on. There you go.
Now let's see if those two end up like this one.
Sweetie.
When I first took her in, she'd start to climb up. Start to climb and then start nursing at the neck, which would be so bad, but for the kneading, they don't. And I'd have to tell Sylvia, you're going to have to go a little bit lower to figure out that they don't work. Oh, she doesn't do that anymore.
You guys are punch drunk, aren't you?
Meow. 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 Meow.
Whoop, wrong one.
One of them has black lipstick.
Oh my, goth kitty.
I know, little white face and black lipstick. Oh, anytime he opens his mouth, it's very dramatic. Oh, I know what I'll do.
Here.
My brain hurts.
Oh, have the K's punctured through that far?
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to get any sleep tonight.
Well, their first night in a new place, that may very well be. Because they probably will be kind of, wondering what happened to Mommy and all.
Mommy was a very nice kitten.
It sounds like they've already imprinted on you pretty well.
Oh, they slept the entire ride. They haven't known me that long, but they just look at me and reach out their paws for me. So
yes,
funny.
But in the car, even when they were sleeping, they were getting your scent.
Okay, so let's see. They reach out for you, and what is it? You smell like tuna? I don't know.
Oh, no, I did give them tuna. I gave them wet food, and I gave them water, and I gave them cat milk.
Okay. Hopefully they had their fill with all of that then.
Well, they seem to eat every hour on the hour.
Yeah. Well, they've got very tiny tummies, and they're going to burn the energy off.
They eat. They sleep. They wake up. They cry. They curl on me. They sleep. They wake up. They get back in the box. They eat. They sleep. It's a little pattern.
Well, yeah, mostly they're trying to grow.
And I gave them the iPad for a while, and they smacked that around for a while. Because I put on an app so that they can play like a laser pointer like hit game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, Mindful. We kind of got a hint about that already.
What?
Oh, wait.
Mindful saying, guess who's going to be on my live on Saturday?
Oh, you're here. Hi. How are you? Yeah. Pencil me in whenever it's good and let me know. Yeah, Saturday's clear. Yeah, Sunday is not clear, but Saturday is clear.
I'm clueless. What's going on?
I mentioned I want to be on Beth's stream on Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm totally clueless.
Okay. Yeah, you just have to drop us a link when you know what time.
Yay.
Although if it's Saturday in the afternoon, I probably won't be around for it. I'll have to catch a replay of it later.
Not to keep on the cats, but my sister was like trying for weeks to get me to say that I'd take a cat, and I'm like, not until I talk to my landlord first. And then yesterday when I was talking to my landlord, I'm like, I'm tempted to take more than one. And they said, go for it. So even though my sister said, oh, I'll pay the vet bill and blah, 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 and, all this other stuff. And I said to her, yeah, that's great and everything, but I can have 2 cheeseburgers. So can I have two cheeseburgers? Like, can you do 2 cats instead of 1? And she went, yeah. So, yeah, because I was just like, I can have 2 cheeseburgers.
Okay, so started up 12 Mountain. So let me see now. That would be 14 Eastern, I think, 2 p.m. Yeah, we can manage that.
Actually, 12 Mountain, I think, would be 14 Central.
Oh, is there another zone between Mountain and Central?
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, no, Mountain, you're right. I'm thinking Pacific time, not Mountain time.
Okay. Yeah, yep. I'm always thinking, specific time zone. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my.
I'm very bad at things like that. I usually have to ask other people what time it is for them and then do the math.
Yeah. Does anybody really know what time it is?
Well, when I know I'm working with somebody in another time zone, I usually pull up a time zone converter so I can try to give it to them in their local time.
I keep thinking that what I should do is go to Walmart, buy half a dozen clocks, and hang them up on the wall like the newsrooms used to do. Okay, this time in Paris, this time in Bucharest, this time in Beijing.
I'd actually been thinking of that, but instead of the cities, I would just have a list of all the YouTubers under it that are in that time zone.
Yeah. Oh my. I remember the jewelry and watch repair stand inside the May Company department store used to have a bunch of those clocks all around the wall. And that brings to my mind, I remember the days of those department stores. That's over.
Yeah, I remember those places.
Are there any more full service department stores left? Or are they all dead by now?
It's kind of like not even the point during a pandemic. Because even if they were, they're not now.
Yeah.
At least in my state, everything's closed down.
Yeah. Somebody had been passing around a thing that JCPenney's was going out of business because of the pandemic. And I was like, JCPenney's was going out of business a year before the pandemic started. They closed all their stores in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Not here in New York, and I hate to say this, but I really like Penny's. I will miss JCPenney, and I don't think that online shopping will replace them. Because there are just some things you have to try on.
Yeah, I especially do not like online shopping for clothes. Because between different manufacturers, the sizes are not consistent, so I never know what's going to fit.
You think you have a problem with that? There was a time I was talking to Seraphim Hyde. What was it? Yesterday morning or some shit like that. There was a time when I actually fit 4 sizes of clothing simultaneously.
Yep.
Yeah, that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Because there used to be a store called Reynolds, and they had one sizing like chart, and then Penny's has a different one, and Sears would have a different one, and then you have Walmart who has like flattery sizes.
Yes.
Like a size 10 at Walmart would be a size 14 in a different store.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, that is pretty much the norm. I hate to say it, where you're like a small in one store, but you're what do you call it? A large in another store. Or you're small down below, but you're a large up top, or vice versa. Depends on how you're shaped and where you're shopping.
That too. Yeah, I started to discover that sort of thing when I started buying my own clothes, basically. Yeah. I mean, I'm speaking of cross-dressing.
Well, I know it's a lot more complicated with women's sizes too. That, with men's, basically, it's more or less small, medium, or large. But
you mean it goes by the math?
Well, that too. I remember I would go and I would get a pair of jeans, like 32, 34 or 34, 32 or something like that. And there they are. It fit, perfect. Can't do that crap anymore.
Yeah.
My friend will never, ever let me forget because he was rather petite in stature, like 5'6", same height as me. And but he had gone on a cross country trip and came back like maybe 110 pounds because he didn't eat much.
Oh, gee.
I mean, he was slight to begin with, so it was rather alarming when he came back. I was like, okay, time to fatten you up.
Yep.
Went out and bought steak and potatoes, basically, and needed to find him new clothes after he got back from his trip. Well, at the time I was making good money, so I was like, come on, let's go to Penny's. And not lying, it was Penny's. We went to walk in. There's a woman working there, and she said, can I help you? And I just looked at him, and I looked how thin he was, and I said, yeah, we're going to need some pants and shirts, and we're going to need to go to the junior section because he's too small to be a man. And what I meant was he's too skinny and but he heard that, he almost fell on his ass laughing. She looked embarrassed for him, and I'm like, that's not what I mean. Well, and he goes, oh no, I'm taking this one to the bank.
I'm glad he thought it was funny because I know so many men would be so offended by that.
Oh, he just thought that was he still uses it against me to this day, so I'm allowed to tell the story.
Oh, no.
But he was so tickled pink, and he laughed so hard, I swear, he couldn't breathe. I'm just like, that's not what I mean. And she looked awkward, and I'm like, I'm really, I look, he's skinny, and she's just like,
yeah,
okay. And I was like, anyway, where's the junior section? We need pants and we need a few t-shirts.
Yep.
Because right now he's basically looking like, he's been in a starvation camp.
Yeah. Well.
God, I remember when I was down to 140 without intending to go there. I felt horrible. So, excuse me, I don't know how he was feeling at 110, but I guess you said he was slight to begin with?
Mostly muscle, but he was always slight. He's still slight.
Yeah, I was 140 for close to 30 years.
Well, he was 130 up until last year, and then he gained a little weight, but you can't see it. And his job had some sort of 24-hour thing because they were redoing all the whole building, so everyone pitched in and helped, and everyone else is taking cat naps, and he was just like, let's go, and they're like, what? Where is your energy coming from? And he's like, you people are younger than me. Where is your energy? Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, from the time I was in junior high until I was like 42, I was always about 140, never went over 150.
Oh, man, I think the last time, with the exception of that one time, well, that was one of the times I was homeless and I wasn't eating very well, so that doesn't count. But the last time, not including that I was below 150, I think I was a preteen. I think I cracked 150 at the age of 11 or something like that.
I was maybe 115 pounds for most of my life until I had the accident with the toe.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And I wasn't allowed to walk for a year, and that put on a lot of weight. And
well, yeah, if you're not getting as much exercise.
I wasn't allowed to walk.
Yep. I can see that would make you put on quite a bit.
Well, before that, I was running at least between 4 and 10 miles a day. because I'd run in the morning and I'd run at night because that was my form of entertainment, especially in college, because I think that saved half the dorm from being murdered in their sleep. The endorphins kept the rage down.
Yeah.
Ding dong.
So, and I had a few running partners, so it wasn't just the same group of girls like for the morning as it was for the afternoon. And that helped, and I kept that up for most of my life. I was running until I had the accident, and then I couldn't run.
Yeah.
But now I'm back to normal, except for, you get the middle age padding.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much unavoidable.
But with COVID, it's been absolutely great. I've lost 3 clothing sizes, and my hair's falling out. Yay!
Yay!
Well, not with the hair falling out, but
well, I got the Ensure, so now I can get at least like normal nutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like about 2 months ago, or when this whole thing started, there was that panic buy-up and all the shelves went empty.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I didn't have anything. And then I ordered food from Amazon, but it took like 4 weeks to get here. And that
So
was.
What are you doing? Eating tree leaves in the meantime?
No, I went to the gas station and got some like shitty little sandwiches and things like that. But you don't want to do that every day, and plus they cost like so much more if you do it that way.
They do.
Yeah, it's a pricey way to eat.
But and then my friend caught some fish and they shared, and someone else shared food with me, and I also got a few phone calls like, you need to go to Tops has meat. It's like, what? Tops has meat. They're limiting it. You can only have like 1 package, but yeah, it's like a pound of meat. It's like, oh, okay, well that's 3 weeks worth of food. Let's do this.
Okay. Oh my. That was the interesting thing. I don't know. Do either of you receive food stamps?
No.
Okay,
I've applied for it under the COVID thing, though. I'm waiting to hear whether or not I qualify.
Okay, because I've been receiving the barest minimum of food stamps, $15 a month for several years. But over the last couple of months, Pennsylvania gave everybody the maximum amount of food stamps for their weight class. And the last 2 months, I got $178 of food stamps each month. And it's okay. What am I going to spend this shit on?
Yeah,
I'm sitting here with $400 food stamp credit, and it's like I actually bought a steak a couple of days ago. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I got a surprise boost from that last month because, I had already given Michigan my change of address, and they should have canceled me by then. And normally I was only getting, like $16 a month on food stamps.
Right.
But then for April, they gave me $180.
Okay, then.
Well, I'm not really working right now, so I did apply, but haven't heard.
Yeah, because I was like always right at the threshold of not qualifying. So it was never more than, $20 a month at most that I ever got off of it.
For a little while, I got $35 a month, and then the rules got changed, and I was knocked back to I was knocked down to 15, and then I was brought up to 16. And it's like, well, okay, $16, I can get 2 cans of coffee for that. I'm not going to complain that much, but Jesus Christ, yeah, these last 2 periods.
Yeah, for me, I had actually felt that the amount they were giving me was really barely worth the paperwork, but the main thing was I needed the medical assistance. That was the only reason I kept going through the paperwork all the time.
Well, same here. We have a what do they call it, a buy-in or something like that, where Pennsylvania Welfare picks up my Medicare B premium.
Yeah, that was the same kind of thing I was getting from Michigan, that they were paying the premium so that I wasn't having to pay the $40 a month out of mine.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
because the
considered to
premium
be
here.
self-employed, so things like temporary assistance and unemployment don't really me all that much right now, but I think they're trying to do something about that
I
because
would hope
Uber
so.
drivers are having the same problem I am.
Yeah. Well, it's something I've had a problem with for years because they consider me to be 60% disabled. So I'm still expected to work about half time, and I'm self-employed.
Well,
and that's why it winds up being a whole mess of paperwork that just,
I'm just talking about my COVID status because I can't clean for people in this environment.
Yeah, you can't be going into everybody's homes in this.
No, and I wouldn't want to anyway.
Yeah.
So someone was like, "Oh, come over. You can come over and have dinner with me." And I was like, "Are you mad?"
Well, and that's for me too. Normally I've been doing home repairs that I was going into everybody's houses and fixing things up. And it's like, yeah, especially since I just moved and I don't have any customer base established here.
Yeah.
That's just not happening here. But fortunately, since everybody's locked up, my online stuff has been getting a lot more orders than usual. So
that's really great. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, so I'm not really hurting from this nearly as bad as most people are.
I need to figure out how to work at home from now on, I think. But I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, well, and for me, I know it's kind of a temporary thing, and when everybody can go back to, going to the regular retail stores again, it's going to drop back to what it was.
Well, I don't know. Really, I don't, because I don't know if things are going to get back to, quote, normal, end quote, for a very long time or at all after this is over.
I'm not expecting it to be a short thing. Like a lot of people are thinking that's going to be like next month or something. And it's no. I'm sure it's not going to be at least until the beginning of the year.
I think also what they're learning is they're now that the cat is out of the box, that there are other ways of getting business done.
Yeah.
And it might be like, I think people are working better from home. I think the ones that are working from home are actually, because my brother-in-law, he's his job told him that they're thinking about keeping him home permanently.
I've heard, or not heard, I've read a couple of articles on that idea. Yeah, where there are those who are thinking of continuing that forever, or employers continuing that forever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He works for the state, and they're thinking about keeping him home permanently.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of like hopeful, because he's immunocompromised anyway. So when people go to work sick, what they're doing is they're messing with his health.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. But I mean, that and his wife, aka my sister, is the bringer of all disease. So.
Oh
yeah. Well, I've had to balance that out a lot too, because Sloth Girl has MS. So when she's on the medication for that, the medication makes her immunocompromised.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm always worried about what I'm going to bring home.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it may not affect me that much, but just a routine flu has her down for a month.
Yeah.
Same thing with my landlady.
Now, what I don't know is if a lot of people decide to continue to work from home, semi-permanently, permanently, whatever, what's that going to do to public transport?
It's going to be lovely.
Yeah, I mean,
except that their revenue will drop off.
Yeah, I'm wondering, are there going to be service cuts?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. If they have a loss in revenue, they usually balance it out by cutting service and raising fares.
Well, right now, what they're doing with the subway is you have to like call ahead and reserve your seat.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, like you're always going to have people using public transportation. There's no way around it. I mean, even here we have public transportation, but we only have like maybe one bus that goes to an area twice a day.
Okay, night
and
mindful.
That's it.
Yeah, it sounds like the situation out here, actually.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, here, in general, I don't think Minnesota's been affected as much by it as a lot of other states. So basically all they've done here is they've cut off hours in the evening. But like from about 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., the buses are pretty much running normal, and they made them all free.
Yeah, that's the one thing I have to check on. I boarded a bus once since the plague hit, and it was free then. And I didn't know if they were going to continue that or what they were going to do. The whole bus was roped off. It was amazing. You could not get on the bus at the front door. They had the caution tape wrapped around, where the wheelchairs usually walk down.
Yeah, that's what they've had here too, that you can only use the back door so nobody gets within 6 feet of the driver.
Bingo.
That's because a bus driver, I forget what state it was, he had people coming onto his bus, they weren't wearing masks, and he was dead from COVID in 4 days.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
So there's a precedence why.
I hadn't heard about that, but it doesn't surprise me that there were cases of that happening.
They actually had him recorded, like saying, "What? You can't help me do my job and stay safe." And 4 days later, he was dead. So, I mean, it's not for nothing, but I've had people still claim that this is a hoax.
Yeah,
and it's like, come on, really? You're gonna go there?
Well, and unfortunately, a lot of our leaders have been, perpetuating that narrative.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Because they're only worried about the stock market, and if a few million people get killed, they really don't care.
Oh, yeah, like the jackass in chief has been known to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the strategy in killing off, one's own supporters, though. Like, what is the strategy? Because it's not just the economy.
Right.
There's got to be a thought behind that, because, like, wouldn't you try to kill off the other opponents instead of your own? Like, what is going on with that?
I was thinking about that with like all these protests at the state capitals and things that, are all being organized by right-wing groups. That they really didn't think this through, that if that many of their people...
No, they're thinking it through. It's just we don't know what the end game is.
Yeah, but if that many of their supporters are dead or sick in November and can't vote, it's going to screw up the election for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that they're thinking that they don't have to have the election if people are dead.
Well, I know they're trying to push for that too, and
I think you've got a point.
Apparently, Trump does not understand that the federal government doesn't run the elections, because he's trying to make dictates on what the states are doing about the mail voting.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
Yeah, and it's something that I've always thought was a flaw in our election system that right now is working, to be an advantage, that we don't have a coherent system. We have 50 different election systems. Yeah, Faye.
Dear.
Faye, what?
Hello?
Sorry, guys. I know you're asleep.
What's up, Faye?
Hello?
Hello.
You there?
We hear you.
Okay, so she fell off the line.
Something with the kittens there.
Okay, hopefully she'll come back.
There she is.
Yay! Hi,
I can't hear.
Okay, we can hear you. You're not hearing us, Faye?
Is my not annoying is too broken? That thing is there? Is my not annoying? Yeah, we are hearing you. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, we're gonna try that one again. Are you reading us? Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to do the signs. It doesn't help if I do it.
Oh, crap. Having a sound issue. Oh, man. I don't know.
Although that's something else I got recently. I haven't had a chance to use them yet because I haven't done any edited videos in the last couple of months. But Nigglespot, who did my other avatar that looks like the chibi, looks like the junior version, did me a couple versions of that of reaction shots. So watch for those in some of my upcoming videos.
Alrighty, and then okay, let's see. I see you. You hearing us, hon?
Faye? Yeah, well, she typed in the side, but she's having a sound issue. But
yeah, we kind of figured that one out.
Yeah, we were hearing you talking. Maybe you need to reboot your computer.
Across the room, yeah. I have had my machine do that to me more than once, though. I've had the sound issues pop up in the middle under your streams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where suddenly it just goes, and I have to get out of everything. I have to reboot. I have to get back into everything. Happily, it hasn't happened here yet. So
well, I actually had that happen in one of my own streams last month. That the computer in the middle of the stream stopped recognizing my headset.
I can actually hear you, Faye.
Yep, Faye, we heard something from you there. But yeah, I had my computer stop recognizing my headset in the middle of the stream. And I had to shut down the whole system and reboot it before it would acknowledge the microphone.
Okay, I think I got it.
Yep, we hear you. We hear you, Faye. Do you hear us?
I do now.
Okay, good. Then we got sorted out, huh?
Hopefully.
What a mess that was.
What happened? Did the kitties unplug something?
No, I think I just needed to plug in.
I know that's happened to Tria a couple of times. That in the middle of a stream, her cat unplugged her microphone.
It was very biggie. It was very boo-goo. It was very, 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 very full of poo-poo.
Yeah. I have a very large tote that I have the cats in right now because they're so small. I don't want them chewing anything or trying to climb anything that's dangerous for them. So I told them, until you can poop on your own, you sleep there.
I think that's probably a very good idea, especially, the first couple of nights. You don't want them crawling in someplace while you're sleeping, and then you can't find them when you get up.
Right. I mean, this is a massive tote.
Yep.
Really, really big, and I just figure it's safer for them and for me.
Yeah,
They're
you're
too
talking about
little to
something
get
like a
out.
small bathtub.
Well, how small are
Yeah.
these guys? Are they even 2 pounds?
No, they're not.
Oh my. Okay then.
Yeah, I got them prematurely because, and it was like I would rather wait 7 more weeks until they're 12 weeks old, but they are 5 weeks old.
Oh, only 5
Oh
weeks.
wow.
Oh, yes, that's definitely too early. But
So I definitely um they were in my sister's bathroom and they were behind part of the wall panel at first.
oh,
But I called them and they came out. But, situations like that, normally you have to take down the wall panel to get the cats out.
Yeah.
I've been called several times to do that, to cut open walls because somebody's pet was trapped behind it.
Yeah. My friend's cat got trapped underneath the sink because you know how the pipes and it's cut. The
Yep.
cat went under there when it come out. So they had to call, local handyman to basically open that
Yep.
up and free the
Like
cat.
like I say, I've been called for doing that several times.
Oh yeah. And I
One
don't
time,
want that. I don't want that kind of drama here.
yeah,
Right.
one time somehow somebody had left the grill off of the heat register,
Oh
and their
no.
chinchilla had gone down in it.
Oh no.
So
No.
I spent all day chasing a chinchilla through the heat ducts.
That is
Yeah.
awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah, well, the first thing I did was right above the furnace, I stuck a piece of plywood in there so it couldn't get into the furnace.
That's
Good idea.
good.
Good idea.
But that's also absolutely frightening.
Yeah, it was, and that's once I knew that it couldn't get into any place that was really going to get hurt, then I had to figure out where in the system it was running.
Oh.
And they're pretty quick, so by the time you get the screws out to open one panel, they're not there anymore.
No. No, but these little guys are just so. I mean, they're big for their age, but they're dumb. I had to put food on my fingertips to get them to recognize it was food.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't realize they were only 5 weeks. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
They haven't had a chance to figure anything out.
I would prefer to wait until 12. However, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah. It's my guess that that's how old Sylvia was when I took her in. 3.5 pounds, about 9 inches long. But yeah, I did weigh her recently, and she's a little heavier than I had thought she was, and that's a pretty good thing. Weighs in at 8 pounds.
Yeah, spooky, something like that.
That's good. 8 pounds is great for a cat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's my guess, the way I guessed at her birthday, she's just short of 4 years old. I set her birthday at 27 May. So I'll get a can of tuna and put a candle in it, and next week.
Well, I don't think these guys can handle regular cat food. So.
Yeah, she was still preferring the kitten food when I first took her in. Really wanting the calories and stuff that you got from that, but then after about 2 or 3 weeks, she went to cat food, and now she's on this stuff where she eats about 13 micrograms per day, and that's all she needs for her entire nutritional requirements. And God, it's amazing. Well, that last bag I got, Purple, lasted 6 months.
Yeah. Well, that's about what I figured, because we get that, for 2 of our cats, and it lasts about 3 months.
Okay, then, yeah.
And that's Petunia's a kind of big eater. Sammy only eats like half a cup a day.
Yeah, I tried to measure how much she eats in a day, and it didn't even register on a damn cup. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to try a few more days.
I've never actually tried to measure it. I just realized that, I'm really only putting food in his dish about 3 times a week.
Because I might put food in her bowl twice a week or something like that. And I actually did put it in the Pyrex measuring cup, and 3 cups, and then put it in. The next morning, or the next day, I should say, 24 hours later, pour it in, and it's still 3 cups. And it's like, oh, what?
Yeah, I don't, I just kind of have a random scoop. I don't really even, know what the measure of it is. So.
Right. All I know is I have to take these guys to the vet and find out what they recommend.
Yep.
Yeah, and my problem, though, with the cat food, I had just bought a smaller bag of the IMs, and then to my door comes this 90-pound bag of cat food. It's like, oh, shit, purple.
Well, yeah, we wanted to make sure you didn't have to worry about it for a few months.
Oh my! But thank you for that, sincerely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally.
Well, you were having problems with the copays for your doctor and all that, so I figured that was one thing we could take care of.
We finally got that shit more or less straightened out, and the copay for the kidney biopsy was entirely on the generosity of friends, and I thank every one of you. And it's great. I went in there, down to the registration desk, and they start signing me in and everything. And and the copay will be $275. Do you want us to bill you? Yeah, I usually don't have $275 in my pocket at any one time.
Oh, well, I'm sure they were asking because most people would just use a credit card then, but.
Yeah.
Well, I sold my soul to fix my car this week, so.
Ow.
Yeah.
It's been a rough week.
Yeah, you were saying that was like 400 and something for brakes?
Calipers and brakes and, all kinds of things. And part of my brake line was actually damaged, so there's that.
Oh no! As long as it doesn't break in half on you while you're on your way to an important appointment, right? Right, Purple?
Yeah. Well, we could have probably moved to Minnesota 6 months earlier, but on our first appointment for it, we were on our way, and about 60 miles out of town, the brake line ruptured. The brakes just went.
I've had that happen.
Yep.
That's not fun.
Yeah, apparently it had been somewhat corroded and just decided it wasn't going to take the pressure anymore.
I've never lost my brakes on the road. I've lost my exhaust system on the road. That was fun.
Well, and it's lucky that it happened when we were just kind of driving down the road and there wasn't really much traffic. That didn't happen when we were trying to make a sudden stop.
Yeah.
It happened to be an area where we were coming into a town. So it went down from being, 65 miles an hour to being 45. And, Sloth Girl was driving and she pushed the brakes to slow it down. And the pedal went straight to the floor and there was nothing there. So at least she managed to pull it off to the shoulder and, tell me that something felt strange. And I was like, oh, yeah.
I don't know. You have the proclivity to run into all sorts of interesting things like that. Yeah, we're going down the highway and something doesn't feel right in his steering wheel. And it's like there's one lug left on the damn, or was it 2?
Well, when you drive a car that's 15 years old, those things happen.
I was going to say, I have a friend who goes through that all the time. He's the same one who I said he was too small to be a man. So.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I'm trying to think, and I'm not sure if I've ever owned a car that was less than 10 years old when I got it.
Oh my!
So for me, that's, it's just part of the routine that I expect things to randomly fall apart and patch them back together as best I can.
I don't do any of my own mechanic work anymore. I don't have the tools.
Oh, I hate doing it. I absolutely hate working on cars. And it's like, if somebody can tell me what the problem is, I can replace components, but I can't do diagnostics. I just don't understand cars that well.
Okay, then. Yeah.
Well,
So unless it's something obvious, like there's a bunch of fluid coming out here.
When it came to my Dodge Dart, I could do almost everything on my own.
Okay, then. Yeah, my ex was always better at automobile maintenance than I ever was.
I have to hang up my microphone for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. When I lived in New Jersey, my friend wouldn't work on his car unless I was with him. Because we would do all kinds of things, alternators, carburetors, points, etc. I was pretty good with, basic stuff. Like, we did the heater core, we bled brakes, we changed brake lines. But these newer cars with their computers and stuff, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I'm not that great at diagnosing an issue like purple, but I'm fine with just pulling something apart and putting a new part in and tightening it up. And, because sometimes you have to take out half of the underneath of the car in order to reach the part that you need.
Oh, God, I remember that. When I tried to change the oil on my Pinto station wagon, you needed a special wrench. The oil filter was between the block and the number 2 cross member. So you couldn't get in there with a regular oil filter wrench. You had to have an offset wrench, and that was all sorts of fun.
I never used a special oil filter wrench, so.
Moo.
I've also never worked on a Pinto.
Okay. Yeah, it was interesting, I must say. Now, I did not have one of the hatchbacks. Okay, so my Pinto was not prone to exploding. That was not a bad thing.
Well, most of my cars were either Datsun or Dodge, Mazda. Mazda, that one was like in 1986, so kind of like not that heavy with computers. Still could do a lot of the work myself. But when it came to tune-ups, oil changes, spark plug changes, changing the battery, changing the alternator, changing, like heater core, things like that, I could do that. It still can.
Well, like I say, I can do it if I can get some help from somebody about what needs to be replaced.
Okay, right. Then. Mm-hmm.
But you were saying about just weird things you've got to do and, taking a dozen things off to get to what you want. Just before the last vehicle I had living in New York, just before I moved to Michigan, I had a Chevy Venture van.
Okay.
Which, I loved it. It was a great van. It had lots of cargo space, really served my purposes. And it had a 6-cylinder engine, which was pretty good on gas and still had some power. But maintenance on it was a nightmare. And I kid you not, this was actually from the manufacturer's maintenance manual that to change the spark plugs, okay, 3 of them were visible right up front. The other 3, it said you had to remove the 2 top engine mounts and tilt the engine forward.
Oh, shit.
Just to get to the spark plugs.
Well, my Honda that I loved so much and great engine, great maintenance, rust killed it. But what it didn't hit the frame. It ate a hole through my gas tank.
Oh, no.
And in order to do the gas tank, everything would have to come off. And the labor would have cost me $1,800 to do a $200 repair.
Yeah, actually, the car I had when I moved to New York was a Geo Metro that I got for free because it was sitting in a friend's barn because the gas tank had rusted through and he refused to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I got the car for free, but I had to replace the gas tank. And yeah, that it was like a 3-day operation to replace the gas tank.
Those were nice little cars. I mean, they were pieces of shit, really, but they were nice little cars because a Geo Metro, if you kept up the maintenance, would pretty much go until the frame cracked.
Now, I've had 2 Fords and a Schwinn, and the maintenance on the Schwinn is a dream. I love it. But
yeah, bicycles are great.
Yeah, they really are.
This maintenance is why one of my favorite cars I've always wanted but was never sold in the US was the Citroen Deux Chevaux.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because part of the design criteria was they said that a farmer in the field should be able to do 80% of the maintenance with a kit of 5 tools that came with the car when you bought it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is if I ever have a choice of car, I am going to either get another Honda or another Mazda. And hopefully a hybrid.
Yeah. I've never had much choice of cars. The last 6 or 7 vehicles I've gotten were all a matter of I got them on barter with somebody for doing some work on their house. So it was pretty much what somebody had laying around that they didn't have much value for, but they needed help with something I could do.
Right. Well, my sister gave me the Honda.
Yeah, like the one I have now is a Ford Focus hatchback that I got, similar kind of thing to the Geo, that it had been sitting in the driveway for 3 or 4 years because they knew the front end was messed up and it was more than they wanted to pay to fix it.
Okay, then.
So basically I got that, and I had to have the whole front end suspension and steering rebuilt before I could drive it.
Well, I'm really hoping that I can get another Honda one day, but I doubt it.
Yeah. I did like the Geo Metro.
I haven't been doing too well.
I had to have the whole... Yeah, I did like the Geo Metro, and honestly, I got nearly 50 miles a gallon on that one. It had the 3-cylinder engine.
They were pretty... Well, my friend had a Geo Metro. It lasted her 20 years.
Nice.
And she was able to drive it until the frame cracked.
Yeah.
Because of rust.
Well,
on
basically...
the East Coast, we use a lot of salt.
Yeah. In the Midwest, too. They're starting to get away from the salt and going to that liquid, some kind of chloride spray stuff.
Yeah, it's really bad for your car. Yeah. My mechanic this year, he put, like, it smelled like Jergens lotion, but it was a fat he sprayed my car with.
Oh.
Because he said, if I don't do this, I'm going to have to replace everything this summer.
Okay, I hadn't heard about that kind of treatment.
It's going to eat your car. And I went, okay. Yeah. And he was just like, I'm just going to spray it with this. It's going to smell for a couple of days, but at least it smells like almonds. I went, okay.
Yep. Yeah, well, the Geo is what I used to move from Minnesota to New York. And the sticker inside the door said that it had a capacity of 588 pounds. And I'm sure that I had
1,100 pounds or something.
I had packed a good 2,000 pounds worth of tools and equipment in it for the move. So I had trouble maintaining speed going up the hills in Ohio.
I was going to say, how was your suspension?
Yeah, so basically that trip killed it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, all I know is the Geo Metro was one of the cars that I was, my friend had this car. She ended up selling it to me. Another friend of mine had it until the frame cracked. I had that car that I got from my friend for a very long time until the floor rusted out. But it was a decent car. It never didn't work for me when I had to go to work.
Okay, then.
And that's basically what you need. A car that will reliably get you to work.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, my friend drove hers until the frame cracked. When the frame cracked, she was like, "Can't we just replace that?" And they're like, "No."
Yeah, well, and that was the same thing with mine. The engine was still running fine, but yeah, I messed up the front end on it.
I was gonna say, you fucking destroyed it.
Yeah, well, and I knew what was going to. I knew that trip was going to kill it, but just the situation I was in at the time, and just that was going to live with my fiance. So it's like, yeah, I was willing to sacrifice the car to make the move.
The thing is, if you need a car that has any type of pickup or power, I wouldn't recommend driving a Metro in New Jersey.
Yeah, it was not fun in heavy traffic, but it was nice trying to park downtown Minneapolis because I could fit into spaces that no one else could take.
Exactly. All I know is in New Jersey with the jackrabbit starts and then slam the brake.
Yep.
Because it's like, I need to get in. You have to be really aggressive to get anywhere. And
well, and basically, like in a parking lot where you've got people who are parked with their tires on the line on both sides, the Metro would still fit in there. It only needed 2/3 of a space.
My friend,
I used to joke that if I got really desperate, I could just park it in the cart rack.
I can't use people's names, but I had one friend. She had the blue Metro. The other one had the red Metro. I ended up driving the blue Metro until the floor rusted out. But the red Metro was the one with the frame crack. She had leased that. And then when the lease went up, she bought it.
Hi, Maya.
Because she had to commute 2 hours to work every day, and it was reliable.
Yep.
Granted, no pickup. Granted, no bells and whistles, but decent car. Even though it was technically a piece of shit by the time
it died. It was, and one of the things I liked, again, back on the maintenance, absolutely no electronics. It had a carburetor. The engine really looked like something from the mid-70s.
It got you where you needed to go, though.
Yeah, but I could open up the hood and I could poke at things and I could understand, the linkages, what was connected to what and what did what, and I could actually do work on that car.
No. Well, interesting. Amiga asks, what is going to happen when internal combustion engines are gone? I don't know. I haven't owned an internal combustion engine vehicle in 31 years. So, and it's kind of nice, actually. I don't mind not owning a motor vehicle, but I don't need one. I don't have a job to get to where I need a motor vehicle to get there. And
I don't see
the best vehicle I ever owned was a 1969 Dodge Dart with a 225 slant 6. And because it was only a slant 6, under the hood, there was enough room to raise a family down there.
Yep.
I mean, working on it was a dream. I mean, you could fit your whole arm. Sometimes you could, basically get up on the car and like lean in.
Oh, I know what you mean.
It was a dream to work on, and doing your own points wasn't a big deal.
I know what you mean. The GM cars from the early 70s, I could crawl right in there.
Oh yeah, I mean even my Datsun. I had a Datsun from the 60s. I was like, I don't know. Wait. All I know is this is a little race car, hatchback. And that thing was a little bit too powerful for a first-time driver. I turned that car hard one time, so hard that the battery ended up on the other side of the car.
Mm-hmm.
I broke the battery mount.
The first car I had was a 66 Buick Century.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord!
And again, it was one I got for free because I was moving to Minnesota at that point.
And had enough room for 2 apartments under the hood.
Well, no, this was this was what in that period they would have called a compact, but would be a mid-size now.
Oh, so it only weighed 6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was moving to Minnesota. I didn't have that much stuff anyway, so that was fine. But my brother gave me the car under the promise that it would never again enter the state of Illinois. And I never got any explanation about that.
Okay. That's interesting. No, but I really miss my dart. That would have been great if I could have kept that going.
Yeah, I had a couple of the Chevy Novas, the like 72 and 73 Chevy Novas. I really liked those.
I found a 1965 Dart with a push-button transmission.
Oh my.
And that thing was gorgeous.
Yeah, those push-button transmissions were pretty rare. They didn't make a lot of those.
Thing is, it was like $500 over my budget.
Okay.
Yep.
And it needed an engine mount. And I think that's about it. So really not much work. Because the engine mount for that was only like $70. But I just couldn't swing the extra $500. Very disappointing.
Yeah, the male salami bastard had a Dodge station wagon with one of those push button transmission arrangements, and that was just I found that to be an amazing thing. I never left my perception, never left my mind.
Lovely thing. It was beautiful. Not a bit of rust on her either. I was like, oh man, if only I could that would have been nice. Even the interior was nice. And I love those little triangle windows that they used to have on the old cars.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the little vent windows.
That way, if it was raining, you could have some air. Even if it was like 90 degrees outside raining, you could have some air in the car.
Yeah.
Why is it that everybody got rid of those? Does anybody know?
I have no idea, but they were the best things.
Yeah.
Well, the explanation they'll usually give is that they became a security issue with people breaking into cars.
Bullshit.
Which was somewhat, but not really. Mostly it was just manufacturing cost, that it was a few extra pieces, so it upped the cost of building the car by a few bucks. You know, if you only have to have one piece of glass instead of two, that's cheaper.
That's bullshit. I would rather have those little vents back.
Like I said, the main thing was just the manufacturing cost. It was just to reduce the number of pieces they had to assemble.
Well, with those, you didn't need air conditioning.
Yep.
They were lovely.
Yeah, I've only had one car that ever had a working air conditioner either.
Well, I've got an air conditioner, but I don't have a key fob. And the air conditioner definitely needs charging, but I am not going to be able to do that for the next 2, maybe 3 years.
Well, and it probably won't pay, because if it hasn't been charged in a while, there's a good chance that the gaskets have deteriorated to the point that it won't hold the coolant for very long.
It worked last year.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe it'd be okay.
Yeah, it's not so doom and gloom, but I'm not going to be able to do it. So I don't think I'll ever have it.
Yeah.
There's just too many things about COVID that have changed my life drastically. But luckily, I can't be thrown out of my apartment until August.
Yeah.
We have a non-eviction for failure to pay rent until August.
You're not expecting to be homeless, are you?
Maybe.
Oh boy.
I have options. I wouldn't accept 2 kittens if I didn't have options. But still, I'm nervous. I've been very stressed lately. Come here, baby. Did you wake up? Yeah.
Ew, ew, ew.
Oh, you're so loud. You want food?
There's nothing like going to sleep at night in a
Come on.
quiet apartment, no noise, and then waking up the next morning to meow, 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 meow.
Yeah, music to my ears, something I've missed.
Yeah.
When Patsy died, I basically just my whole outlook on life became very bleak.
Yeah. Well, when my ex pushed me out, and I didn't have a stable enough living situation to have any furry roommates for a while, it was very unnerving to me not to have something else moving around in the apartment at night.
Oh yeah, it's every bump, everything just makes me jump out of my skin. It's like, what is going on? What's that noise? And I am terrified of the dark. So, well, okay, it's not because I believe in ghosts, but it's a bit of a trauma. When I was like 6 or 7, my cousins and I, we were taking a walk. We were at a campground. They heard a noise, got spooked, and they ran, leaving me behind around sunset. So I was lost in the woods until like 1 or 2 in the morning or something like that. But for a small child, that is actual trauma. And
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable in complete darkness if I'm awake. So if the lights go out before I go to sleep, I am so terrified I can't sleep. And having a cat has helped me with a lot of that because, you're not alone. You have a furry thing that's calm sitting on you, and you're like, okay, if cat's calm, I'm calm. Well, my calm left the door when Patsy died, so. And I haven't really gotten over that either, but I can't make it through social distancing and fucking quarantine without an animal. I've learned that this is entirely too painful.
Yeah.
It's like my worst nightmare, basically, to be completely alone.
Yeah.
And
Loud
that
and clear.
sucks so bad.
Now, what I want to be able to do is secure the stuff in the bedroom so I can have her back in there again, and she can get in the bed with me, and have her sleeps in there and stuff like that. Because
I'm horrified.
since I moved things around, I haven't been able to have her in what is now an actual bedroom as well as a library. I don't sleep out in the studio anymore, which is great, except for the fact that if she's back there, she will hide all my jewelry and eat all the plants. I'm like, okay, no, I don't think we want to go that route.
Yeah. Well, with Sammy, I can't have plants, that's for sure. But see, I had to go the other way since I've got tools and stuff in the bedroom that he could get hurt on.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to have the mattress out in the living room to sleep on because I just, I can't see sleeping where he can't come up on the bed with me. That would be harder on me. I think that would be on him.
Yeah, well, they let you know what they'll accept.
Well, like I say, that's for me more than him. I couldn't deal with the idea of him being locked out of the room when I'm sleeping. Because I'm used to, like I say, I only sleep like 2 hours at a time. And he doesn't wake me up. but he's aware of when I wake up, and he always hops up on the bed for some petting, and that does help me fall asleep faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's. I did try to let her in there at one point, and I'm in the bed, and she's in there, and she's looking around. Next thing you know, she's got her face in my $13 gardenia, and it's like, no, I don't think we can do this. Damn it.
Patsy managed to kill every houseplant I brought in home, but I kept trying.
Oh, I'm
she
very
kept killing.
Yeah,
I'm extremely trying, but that's beside the point.
I actually have to get some cat grass started for him again, so he has something he can munch on.
Thank you for reminding me. That is something I want to do. Is number one, plant some cat grass because I've got one of the planters, and the other thing is buy another planter from Amazon so I can rotate them.
Yeah, well, and what they sell as cat grass is usually just ryegrass.
Yes.
So especially
it's
in the
either
spring
white
now,
or it's either rye or wheat.
rye or ficus.
Wheat too.
Well, I've got the wheat.
Okay. Yeah.
But
yeah, I bought like a 3-pound bag of the ryegrass seed, and that's what I kept doing for Sammy at the old place. You know, because it's like I got a 3-pound bag off of Amazon, you know, for what I would have paid for just a couple of handfuls of it otherwise.
Okay, then. Yeah. Oh, my.
But especially now, though, you know, this is the season that all the places are stocked up on the garden supplies.
Yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned that and brings it to my mind. I might have to look.
Yeah, so you could probably get, you know, just a small bag of stuff that they would have like for patching lawns.
The thing is some of the stores, well, in my state, they non-essential buying. So you might have to order it.
Yeah, that depends where you live. I've heard of that in a lot of places. We don't have that here.
Okay.
Basically, anything they have in the store you can buy, but they're, you know, more and more things are running out. They're not getting as much stock into the stores as they usually get.
Well, you can dip shit for that.
What surprised the shit out of me was for the longest time, the Squalmart Nursery did not have any of their lawn and garden stuff, you know, the outdoor stuff. They had some. But last week, they got a pretty decent stock of it. And it's, oh, wow.
That was the same thing here. I had thought that they were just skipping doing the garden centers at all the stores here because I didn't see it. But like you say, it was, you know, just over a week ago then that all of a sudden they've got all the racks of, you know, all the racks of seedlings and things in.
Yeah, they had a tiny bit of Spanish lavender left, but I think I had some problem with the lavender I bought the last time around. I'm having a hard time keeping it going, so I don't know if I want to do that again. Oh God, what's that evergreen herb? I forget.
Rosemary.
Thank you. That's doing just fine. But the lavender is not managing, so I guess maybe I just don't try that again.
All I know is I've got a great big basil plant. I grow turnips on my my deck and my windowsills, and I have a pot, like a long planter, because of the way they grow, the rhizomes. Ginger.
Oh yeah, okay.
But my brother-in-law he's planted leeks for me.
Okay.
And leeks, beets, tomatoes. There's garlic and chives, and like 4 different types of mint.
Ooh.
And yeah, I hit their garden pretty hard. Plus, he grows like 5 different types of potatoes.
Oh wow!
So the usual haul is pretty good. As I said to some people, it's like I will be fine when summer gets here, because I have a vegetable hookup.
Yeah, my father was an incredible gardener. It was, something that I never had a chance to learn, but it was amazing the amount of vegetables he could produce in a, suburban backyard.
Mm-hmm. I like the bag method for potatoes personally.
What's the bag method?
Wait a minute.
Where you grow potatoes in a bag?
No, explain this at me if you don't mind, please.
Okay, well, you get a bag of either like straw, hay, whatever, mixed with soil, right? And you put in your seed potatoes.
Is this what, like a paper lunch bag or something?
No, like a burlap bag or something.
Okay.
And you leave the one end open, but they start to grow, and as they grow, you add more dirt. But you let the green show, and then you add more dirt, and you add more dirt, and then when it's time, you just open up the bag and you spread it out, and it's just full of potatoes.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you can grow potatoes in bales of hay. You can grow potatoes quite easily in a couple of different ways. The only thing is, for a couple of years here, we had blight, and that's airborne. So if anyone was in an air current where someone had blight, you're basically just gonna have bad potatoes. But you can grow potatoes in a bag, and it's pretty easy. You can do it on a rooftop, you can do it in a backyard, you can do it on a balcony, you can do it lots of places, and it's not that bad.
I mean, my wife and I used to grow potatoes in grass clippings.
Yeah,
you would just set the potatoes on the ground without tilling the ground or anything, and pile grass clippings on top, and perfect.
Yep.
But you can grow potatoes in shopping bags and straw and all kinds of things. But the thing is, like, people don't understand just how easy it is to grow a good amount of vegetables at home when you have no space. And something like a root vegetable is pretty much easy.
Oh my! What I would love to be able to do is I'd love to be able to grow food outside the apartment, within view of my living room window. Unfortunately, that area is a decrepit parking lot.
Yeah.
It's not the bare soil or anything like that. It is the asphalt, but the asphalt isn't in one piece. It's crumbled up by now, and all the grass is growing through, but you still can't use it for anything. Pisses me the hell off.
I would plant sunflower seeds and let the sunflowers take all the chemicals out of the ground.
Oh, are sunflowers good for that?
Yeah. Especially radioactive stuff.
Oh, wow. And for all I know, there may be radioactive shit there.
Yeah, I didn't know that the sunflowers are good for that.
Look it up. I know too many weird agricultural stuff, so.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the one show we had, which was kind of nice. You were doing the roof gardens and the wall gardens and all that shit. Yeah.
Basically,
yeah, I remember the PBS show Crockett's Victory Garden, and then there was another one that was all about just growing stuff in containers, just growing stuff in buckets and that. And I used to watch those, but I'm not good with plants. I kill the house plants anyway, so.
Oh, I wish I could remember the name of the guy who popularized talking to the plants, Jerry something, I think. But I had one of his books. He had all kinds of wonderful stuff in there on how-tos and using dish soap as an insecticide and, well, not so much an insecticide, but a deterrent.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you call it? If you, you can look up things about sunflowers, like after the Chernobyl disaster and things like that. They basically planted sunflowers to absorb the toxic metals and the radiation from the soil, and it works. It does work. So sunflowers are really, really good for the environment, and you know, it's a they're really heavy rooted, so they're good at aerating the soil, and they're also great to compost. But don't plant sunflowers too close to a residency because they do attract mice.
Yeah, my dad used to grow sunflower seeds in our yard. You know, because he managed to grow the giant ones that would get 7-8 feet tall.
Oh, they're so.
Those guys.
I'm not putting him down at all, but they are just so easy to grow. Soak a sunflower seed for about 8 hours before you plant it, and then water it heavily until the green stuff comes up. And then you only have to water it depending on the weather, right?
Yeah.
Well, those, once they get established, there's no stopping them. They're like mutants from outer space.
I like it.
The year I graduated college, before I'd left home, I had soaked sunflowers that someone had given me like 5 years before when I graduated high school. So I soaked them and then I put them along the fence before I moved out. One, I soaked them because it had been 5 years, and two, I really didn't expect them to grow. But I had watered them for a few weeks. I didn't tell anyone about it. And then basically my mother had to contend with like 50 like 7-foot flowers all around the house. She said it was beautiful, but it was a pain in the ass in the fall when they died.
Yeah.
Do they self-seed?
They can, yes.
Oh yeah, the sunflowers will come back year after year.
That would be
if you let them to, yeah.
That would be interesting to try. I suppose it's a little too late this year, but there's it was a swimming pool in the backyard, and one of the landlords decided, okay, insurance and everything else, not a good thing, filled it with soil, and it's just an eyesore now with the weeds that grow in there and everything else. I'm just wondering, could I get away with throwing a few sunflower seeds back there and then they crowd everything else out and then come back year after year and look kind of nice? I don't know.
The birds would thank you.
Yeah. Oh my, that is something about this part of the country, if you want to call it that. When I was growing up in Cleveland, there were, for example, 3 birds that you might see. You might see blue jays, you might see robins, you might see blackbirds. Over here, there's everything. I have seen birds I knew about only through books. I guess we're right under the what is it, the Atlantic Flyway or something like that. Where you're seeing goldfinches, you're seeing, yes, dear, hummingbirds I saw only when I came out here. And holy shit, man, I love this.
Well, all I know is if you ever, you've given up the caffeine, right?
No, I went back on it.
Okay, well, if you are adventurous and you trust your soil, or you can find some soil that you trust, plant dandelions. Or
Oh,
chicory.
okay.
Chicory looks like a common weed, but dig up the dandelions, dig up the chicory, wash them, wash the roots, bake them in the oven, grind them into a coffee substitute. It's lovely stuff, and it's good for the heart.
Okay, heart healthy is always a good thing.
Well, it's good for the heart because it's the right type of what do you call it? Soft fiber. It's the soluble fiber, and it helps regulate like blood cholesterol and stuff like that. It's not a miracle cure or anything like that.
Oh, right,
It's not
right.
a statin or anything, so you don't have to worry about it interacting with your medication or anything like that. But it is good for you because fiber is very good for you. And, it doesn't have caffeine, but it does have that rich flavor. And if you were, say, dabbling in, you could use that as a coffee replacement, or you could add it to your coffee for a hint of like richness. It's very good. Uh, I had first time I had chicory coffee. My sister had brought it from like New Orleans, and it was
Okay.
just really good.
Years and years ago, a neighbor would make dandelion wine. The stuff wasn't bad.
My dad made dandelion wine.
Dandelion wine is lovely, but that's not the root.
No, the dandelion wine's made from the blossoms.
Exactly, and that's a pain in the ass to collect.
Yeah, well, that was literally, I was going to the park on my hands and knees with scissors, harvesting bushel baskets full of the dandelion blossoms for that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was something to the effect of a bushel basket full of the dandelion blossoms got you like 1 quart of wine.
But
the yield wasn't.
it's sweet.
It was incredibly sweet. Yes.
It's got like kind of, it makes you think of honey. And it's really, really, really tasty. And anyone who's like getting really sick of quarantine and they want to try something like fun, make some dandelion wine. It won't hurt you. It's lovely stuff.
I think that's technically against the rules in this building, but shit, stick it in the closet. Who's going to know, right?
It's not hard to make.
No, you just put a lock on it, and let it ferment, and that's basically it, right?
Right. I mean, you could do it in a quart mason jar and do a tiny little batch. You don't have to do vats and vats of the stuff. I mean,
all right.
Someone you can always adjust the recipe and things like that, but dandelion wine is absolutely lovely.
Yeah, well, and that was the way my dad did it too. That basically we just bottled it up and put it down in the root cellar for 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like water, sugar, dandelion petals. You don't want any of the green stuff in it. A lot of people add oranges, but you don't have to. You can add lemon if you want. You can add lime.
Well, instead of using so much sugar, my dad would make it with raisins.
Okay. And you can add, I think it's like a teaspoon of yeast. And maybe like some other type of yeast. I'm not sure, but it's really lovely. And you can make dandelion root coffee. You can make dandelion root tea, which is basically just use less of the powder that you make the coffee.
Yep. Well, and if you get the dandelion greens before they flower, then the greens are just like spinach.
Yeah, you can eat them.
Yeah.
You can put them in salad. And I have.
Oh, yeah. I've had dandelion greens in a salad or steamed.
I do it every summer because, food is expensive.
Yep. Yeah, well, I used to do a lot of that, of just, foraging on the edge of the forest.
Mm-hmm. And chicory is lovely too.
Yeah, I wish I knew how to identify mushrooms, because when I was living in Michigan, I could have picked up baskets full of mushrooms. I just didn't know which ones would kill you.
Yeah, that's the problem. And I know there's a lot of mushroom foragers here, but we have a problem with a mushroom that pretends to be another mushroom.
Yep.
It basically infects another mushroom and grows and kind of replaces that mushroom, and it ends
I
up
know what you
being
mean.
like bad. The only ones that I really trust are the puffballs.
Yep.
Because they're so, one, they're really hard to cultivate, and two, they have a very brief season, so they're not really going to be replaced by anything else.
Yeah, and in Michigan, in Upper Michigan, there were two virtually identical ones. That one of them was poisonous, and one of them was worth like $600 a pound as a gourmet.
What kind are you talking about?
I don't remember the names of them. I'd have to have a book on them to remember. But, it's like, yeah, so it's like either it was a jackpot or it was poison.
Mm-hmm.
But they looked so similar, you really had to be expert to tell them apart.
Everybody asks that question. I mean, can I eat this mushroom or can I eat that mushroom? And you can eat every mushroom. Every one of them you can eat. The question is, can you eat it a second time?
Right. Well, I know locally some people have made mistakes and died.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But some of the clues are in the soil too.
Yeah. That's why I shied away from doing it in Michigan, because I knew of a number of cases locally of people who had picked ones they thought were safe and wound up in the hospital.
No.
And if you're already sick, they'll kill you.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll just kill you. But I do know that morels or morels are lovely.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know those are one of the most sought after ones.
Yeah, they're very delish.
No, a couple friends have said that psilocybe can be found around here, but then again, it's making sure you know what's there and making sure you know what it is.
What gets me is that people can grow shiitakes and things like that on decent sized branches, and they don't. They're excellent protein.
Yeah.
They taste good.
Yes, they do.
Portobellos you can grow in hay and compost because they're just basically button mushrooms gotten really big.
Yep.
Yes.
And they're very tasty. You can grow them in a box. You can grow them outside. Shiitakes, though, are absolutely lovely. And almost anyone can grow them anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I know the portobellos that, people grow them in buckets of manure.
Yeah, just take a shit in a bucket and you're all set.
Well, the thing is inoculation. If you're going to do inoculation, you don't want to have like a whole bunch of bacteria and stuff like that, because that could get in the way of like cultivation. But when it comes to like, what do you call it? You have like chicken of the woods, you have hen of the woods. I think the hen you can grow that on sawdust, and that's tasty. Chicken of the woods usually grows in pine, like on pine trees, so you would actually need pine boughs, but they're not hard to get. And when it comes to like other types of mushrooms, they're not hard to do. And I think about 20 years ago there was only 6 mushroom cultivators, and one was done in like a house in Pennsylvania for button mushrooms, and that's ridiculously easy. So I mean,
the one that was doing it if they dug a cave off their basement or some shit like that.
no, it was just a basement thing. Other people have done it in caves, but there was this one particular one that I was interested in because it was just ridiculously easy. And I thought about doing it, but the thing is, it's like you have to have a really sterile house. And most of the houses I live in, like this one, was built in the late 1700s. So how many years of lead paint is that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to grow anything in this basement.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were that easy to cultivate, but yeah, I would have similar questions about
the thing is, if
what
you're
are the
going
walls
to
made
grow,
out of.
if you're going to grow shiitakes, it's usually good to use like boughs. But this is the interesting thing. They usually only like floral like once or twice a year. If you have, say, a rain collector barrel or a big trash barrel that you let fill with rain and you dunk them in there in cold water, the cold will reactivate them and they will bloom again.
Huh.
Yeah, because one guy was having a hard time with his mushrooms and he put it in for 24 hours and took it out and the mushrooms just bloomed again. It was off season. But the thing is, a good 6-inch limb can basically give you mushrooms for the next 20 years. And that's what the doweling method, where you would like drill a hole, you have inoculated dowels, you put them in there, you cover them with paraffin, but you have to soak the bough first to get the right moisture in the wood. And because you're sealing it with the paraffin, you keep the moisture in there, and then the mushrooms just, hi, eat me, you know? And it's just a good way of like getting things. People have built like fences and things like that, and they lean the boughs on them, and they have mushrooms all the time. It's a really interesting bit of agriculture, and there's a couple of different mushroom providers. I think one is called the Mushroom People, and they even talk about the trippy kind. But I'm more interested in the kind that you grill and eat.
Okay.
Okay. Spooky says something about fly agaric, that you feed them to sheep first and then drink the sheep urine.
I don't know what that is, but I'm not into the idea of drinking sheep urine.
I don't
Thank you
really
very
want to
much.
drink anything's urine.
I can't remember. Wait a minute. Let me look that up. I don't remember anymore what fly agaric is. Okay. Muscimol mushroom. Trying to look it up under Wikipedia here. It looks like cap.
I was just guessing that was, some method of concentrating the hallucinogenic things in them.
All I know is for the longest time, well, this is before I found out like we no longer have a family farm, but a pound of saffron, which is basically crocus.
Yes, crocus pollen.
Yep. If you have a pound of it, which is basically a whole football field, by the way.
Yeah.
Is anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 per pound.
Really?
Uh-huh. But you have to go and you have to pick those little flower pieces off of the crocus. And they're beautiful crocus.
Yes, they is.
It would be a pain in the butt to pick them and dry them.
Yeah, it's the question of how much labor is involved in getting them to the state that somebody will buy them.
Mm-hmm. Basically, it is like agriculturally, it's more than gold. It's worth more than gold.
Yeah, it amazes me at how much is worth more than, or how much is worth less than gold anymore. Because God's, the price of gold has shot up like crazy over the last few years. Used to be.
That's because of technology.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Gold
because they need it for the circuit boards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
'cause
saffron still like super expensive compared to gold. Even now.
Even now.
Even with technology, saffron is still worth more than gold.
Okay, yeah, Spooky said it was about filtering the poisons out of the hallucinogenic mushrooms. And he dropped a Wikipedia article on it.
See, I don't know anything about those.
Yeah, I would be curious to try them if I felt that the person who was providing them really knew about them. But they are something I would be very cautious of.
I'm not willing to drink sheep's urine.
Well, no, I'm not willing to drink the urine. I just meant, some of the mushrooms.
Yeah. I'm just saying, no matter what it is, I'm not willing to.
Okay, so
I see it. It looks like these are the mushrooms from Minecraft.
So no civet coffee for you either?
No.
The one you feed to the kitties and it's
harvest out of their poop.
Yeah.
It's like one of the world's most expensive coffee beans because there's more than one that gets filtered through an animal, and then they crap it out, then they harvest the coffee beans, and then they make the coffee, and I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah, I had heard about some of those.
It's like, no, thank you. But what are you going to do? All I know is I'd be very curious to see if anyone is willing to make Dandelion Wine.
Yeah, I don't actually have a recipe for it. I just remember, helping my dad make it, but I wasn't sure everything he put in it.
I was just looking at a recipe for Dandelion Wine just a few minutes ago from All Recipes. It's not very complicated at all, it seems.
No, and you can at home. You could, in just a couple of days, you could make makgeolli, which is Korean rice liquor. It's really nice. It has good flavor. It's not hard to make. That's another thing that would be interesting. An interesting COVID-19. I'm at home type thing. Try to make your own alcohol.
That I would not mind doing. Yeah.
And the Korean rice liquor, it has a really good palate feeling. It's not sake, well, it's not clear. It's cloudy, but it's lovely.
Okay, now I'm looking at one over here. It's from All Recipes. 1 quart yellow dandelion blossoms, well rinsed. 1 gallon boiling water. 1 package wine yeast. 8 cups white sugar. 1 orange sliced. 1 lemon slice. And I think pretty much just throw it into a bottle and let it ferment.
Yeah. Not bad, huh? I mean, if you're going to ferment anything, though, you have to burp it.
Oh, yeah.
Because the gases build up, and when you open that thing, it'll fly out everywhere. You need to... You can get a burping lid, or, it's not that bad.
Yep.
Well, I'm trying to remember those locks that you can buy from the winemaking sites are not all that expensive, are they?
No, they're not.
The gas locks, or I forget what the names of them are,
but there's like
fermentation lock.
Right, and they have some that just fit on mason jars. So if you ever did want to make dandelion wine, well, you can think of just doing it in a regular mason jar. It's not bad. And also with the mangoli, that's absolutely tasty and probably a good project.
Yeah, I wouldn't
mean,
mind that at all.
if you appreciate science, make your own liquor. Yay!
Yay!
Actually, didn't Scientist Mel do a show on that?
I don't know. I don't remember. All I know is I've been saying this type of stuff for 8 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like, try to grow your own food, try to make your own food, try to make your own, entertainment fluids.
Yeah. No, and if I had met you a couple of decades earlier,
we would have been hanging out and doing weird things. I know.
Oh yeah, no, I did. I spent about 10 years working on plans for building a self-sufficient homestead.
Hi. Meow. Are you awake? Meow. Are you bored?
Itty bitty kitties are up again.
No, he's just looking at me for a moment before going back down. They are sleepy, those little guys.
It's like, just wanted to make sure you're still here.
Yeah, kinda. And it's just like, okay, kitty, just do your thing.
Okay, here we are. You can get a fermentation log from a place called the Keg Factory for less than $2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, if anyone really is curious about how to do it, there's tons of recipes online. YouTube channels have done it, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, it's just a lovely way of experimenting and having some fun. And there's no reason not to try it.
Yeah. Well, I could say it's probably technically against the rules here, but I could stick it into a closet or something and I'd be okay.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them don't smell, though. Some of them do. Like, if you're going to brew beer, it's going to be something
you're going to smell
and terrible. And, the neighbors would be like, what the fuck? And you don't want to do that. But, like, a lot of stuff is perfectly fine. Yeah. And if you do it in a small batch, who really cares what you're making in your own place?
Yeah, in one of the suburbs of Syracuse, when I was living there, there was a store. I forget quite what it was called, but they advertised, everything you needed for hydroponics and microbrews. So basically they sold everything to make your own pot and booze.
Oh, pity. Oh, I need to water my basil. It is the thirstiest plant I've ever tried to grow.
Oh my! You ought to try rosemary.
Rosemary's lovely, but I wouldn't grow it indoors because it gets big.
Yeah, well, my idea is I got one because I wouldn't mind snipping some fresh rosemary from time to time. When I make the potatoes this weekend, I'll clip a whole shitload from one of my rosemary.
Well, if you have a plant that needs watering that frequently, you should probably, try like a drip irrigation for it.
I have one of those self-watering pots. It's just occasionally it'll go. I don't like to water it unless it goes completely bone dry because then it will get rot.
Okay.
So I have a self-watering plant, but the thing is I try to keep the water level down in that because, again, I don't want too much water in that soil.
No.
It's just when it goes bone dry, you've got a couple of, I think maybe like 8 hours before the damn thing starts to wilt.
Yeah, like I said, I've never been very good with plants, so.
Yeah, I hope.
I'm a farmer's daughter.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm a farmer's daughter.
Well, if you can tell me how often or how much the plant needs, I could design and build a watering system for it. But somebody has to tell me how much water it's supposed to get.
Yeah, I get that.
And not too much isn't precise enough.
Yeah. Well, no, you need to tell me.
And the delivery system and so.
Yep. Yeah, and I know that, unless you've got a completely contained environment, I know that's going to be some variables on how fast the water evaporates from the soil and that. So you can't always necessarily say, how many milliliters per day it needs.
Right. And then I have some plants that I only water like once every 3 months.
When I was living with my sister, we dehydrated a cactus because we neglected it too long.
Okay.
It kind of got pushed back in the bookcase and got forgotten about.
Okay, then.
Did you water it anyway when you found the desiccated remains?
I don't know what she did with it. I'm not sure.
Okay, because usually you can revive them quite easily.
Yeah, hopefully my columbine will do fairly decently. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I found a columbine plant at Squall Mart that it was already starting to wilt and everything else like that, but it looked nice otherwise. So I brought the sucker home and drenched it, and hopefully it'll go. I love columbine. Oh, I love columbine.
They're very pretty. They kind of remind me of jellyfish, but
Yeah.
I didn't think it was the time of year. Why do you call it Squall Mart?
Oh, just the same way that I talk about blows or home despot or just to play with the word.
Oh, okay. Because I don't get that.
Now, given a choice, if I had the same distance to walk to get to a Squall Mart or to a Target, I would prefer the Target.
Okay.
Yeah, their staff seem to be more knowledgeable. Their aisles are wider and that sort of thing. But where I am, it's the Squall Mart is about a mile away, so that's where I go.
Yeah. I don't like Walmart for a lot of reasons, but Sloth Girl seems to feel that Target is a little snooty.
Oh no, I love Target.
Yeah, well, I do too, and I even worked for Target for a while, actually, in 2 separate occasions, a couple of years apart.
I never thought they were snooty. In fact, the people who work there are absolutely lovely.
I have to say that, particularly with their grocery stuff, though, they do seem to have aimed for a little more upscale than what Walmart does.
Oh yes, and I think that's one of the reasons I like them better than Walmart. Because okay, I know how I'm going to sound when I say this, but the class of clientele at the Squall Mart seems to be on average near the bottom of the barrel. Well, you have those sites where you see the pictures of people in Walmart.
There's a couple of YouTube channels that show those people Walmart videos.
Yeah, and you laugh at those people and everything else like that. Yeah, and that's real shit there. Dealing with a slightly more upscale clientele isn't bad.
Yeah,
and the price tag is not that much more upscale at the Target, really.
I noticed
I have found clothing at Target for less than Walmart.
Yeah.
And Walmart has poor quality.
Yeah, on most of the stuff, I find that the price between Target and Walmart is negligible, but in the grocery items, especially in the fresh produce, Target does seem to be a bit higher.
Yeah, I give you that. Definitely. Yes. Yep.
No, I haven't noticed much of a difference.
Well, and that's just what I'm noticing, since I've been back here, because
if I need electronics like a cord or something, I have to go to Target because Walmart doesn't carry it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to Target for certain things, and I don't have a problem with that. And when I brought my friend there, my landlady, she was so impressed with the prices. She's like, I don't know why I shop at Walmart.
Yeah, well, I generally don't shop at Walmart if I can avoid it. more than anything else, primarily because of the way they treat the employees.
Oh yeah, they have less employees than ever and this is before COVID, to cover like a lot of store, and they just don't treat them well.
Their employee turnover tends to be quite high, and yeah, I've known a number of people who have worked for them, who did not have good things to say. And like I say, I've worked for Target, and yeah, one time I had a really shitty supervisor, but that was an isolated individual. That was not company policies.
Right. With Walmart though, it is company policy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, okay, I'm on the Target site right now. They have a long sleeve T-shirt for $7. It's good quality. If you go to Walmart and you get that same T-shirt, or you get a long sleeve T-shirt, it's going to be really shitty quality, and you won't be able to wear it for more than 1 year.
Yeah. The stuff at Target, you will tend to get more use out of. It won't tend to come apart as fast.
And they have more clothing size like choices. Because
I can't speak too much for the clothing just because I don't buy a lot of clothes.
I take a lot of people shopping. And when it comes to like back to school, or I have a few larger people that I take shopping, they get more choices from the plus size than they would at Walmart. Walmart, basically, if you're heavy and you need clothes, you're gonna walk out of there looking awful.
Yes.
At least with Target, you can get a decent dress, or you can get something that's not made so like it's mocking you for being heavier. And when it comes to teenager brands, it's like Walmart does have some brands that some of the teenagers go for, but if you go to Target, they're not going to fall apart at the seams in 3 months, especially if you've got like an athletic child.
Yeah.
Well, at the Target, when I had places to wear this stuff, I wasn't even able to get dress clothing there. Skirt and a blazer set at a decent price, and fit me well, looked decent, and I just don't have any place to wear any of that stuff anymore, as much as I like to wear it.
Well, if anyone needs an outfit or blah blah blah, definitely go to the Target website and look at their clearance stuff, because they usually have really great stuff on the website, clearance, and it's not a bad deal.
Well, most of the time all I wear are jeans and t-shirts. So I actually get most of my clothes at Menards, because a couple times a year I can get jeans for $15 a pair, and they give me free t-shirts.
Okay.
I have a habit of either getting stuff from Tractor Supply, which is a little bit more expensive, but you can't rip one of those t-shirts if you like snag a corner or something and there's a nail sticking out. Or I wear medical scrubs because they're cheap, they're loose, and I can move around. And if I spill bleach on them, I don't care.
Well, and that's for me a big part of the jeans and t-shirts, is because with working with tools and doing the home repairs, most of the stuff I'm going to catch it on something and rip it, or I'm going to get paint on it, so that's what's going to destroy it first. And it's like nothing's going to really significantly change the lifespan. It's just the type of stuff I do.
You don't get the paint out of your clothes?
Well, it depends what type of paint and what kind of access I have to somewhere to clean up.
Okay.
If I'm working with some place that doesn't have running water, there's not much chance of getting the paint out before it dries.
Fair enough. But, I mean, there are ways. Just saying, there are ways.
Well, you probably could teach me something about how to save some of the jeans. Like I say, the t-shirts I don't even care about because I get so many of those free.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll explain that later.
Okay.
But,
yeah. Well, yeah, if you can tell me how to get some of the stains out of the jeans and be able to wear those longer, that would be good.
Oh yeah, I mean it's usually not that bad. I mean, I'm terrible. I'm absolutely terrible when it comes to household stuff because I know a lot of tricks.
Okay, night, Spooky.
Spooky goes night night. Well, night night. You be good, have fun, stuff and things.
Yeah, he's leaving before I talk about how to do your laundry.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just looking at stuff and things and clothes over here at the Target, and I've noticed this while I'm out and doing shopping and everything else. It's amazing how people will go out and buy clothing that looks like the clothing I had worn for 5 years and pretty much outgrown, and it's threadbare and coming apart, and people will buy that stuff off the rack now and pay money. Yeah, and it's, why are you doing this?
That's what I've wondered about. Like, the distressed jeans were such a big thing, and it's like, yeah, these are the work pants I'm throwing away because I'm embarrassed for a customer to see me in them.
Yeah, and then the other thing with the distressed jeans, I mean, I don't want to take that stuff home because it's sitting there saying, "Oh my God, what's she going to do to me now? Oh my God!" No, anyway,
Okay. No, actually, I heard, read some things on those, and one of the techniques that they literally use in the factories is they'll have somebody take a belt sander to the jeans.
Okay.
Just to, wear out certain sections of them.
I've
the
heard
best place to go shopping for Pride Week is Target.
Okay.
They have a lot of things for Pride Week, and it is fun to take a group of teenagers there and let them go rainbow crazy.
Yep.
Okay, then. Yeah, I just kind of had the idea that maybe I wanted not so much, clothing or anything. I just thinking of getting a pride flag and sticking it in the window or some shit like that, and see who comes to beat me up. And
one of the local teachers here lives in the town next to mine, and his neighbor has a great big Trump banner on his house.
Oh Lord!
So the teacher put up a pride flag. He's not gay, but he is a supporter, and he makes it known. So every year he just adds a little bit more sparkle, a little bit more rainbow to his house. It's plain blue house, but it is slowly being taken over by the rainbow.
It reminds me of the place literally across the street from the headquarters of the place that Fred Phelps founded.
Oh yeah, there's a rainbow house right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that is another reason I have always supported Target, is that they're based in Minnesota, and they were supporters of the Minneapolis Pride Festival before they had any corporate supporters.
Mm-hmm. And they have what do you call it? Genderless bathrooms.
Yep.
And a lot of people went there and did their whole protesting and yelling, "Don't go to Target." No, go to Target. They are LGBTQ friendly. And honestly, they have great deals, good clearance section. I have no beef with Target at all. I think they have a wonderful product thing for makeup and other products, and you can find things, especially if you're sensitive with the skin, that you can't get in other places.
Yep. Well, one of Minnesota's longtime senators was Mark Dayton. He's no longer in office, but that's Dayton Hudson is the parent company of Target.
Oh, okay, fine, yeah.
So, yeah, Mark Dayton was from the family that owns that corporation.
Moo.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
He was a Republican, but I still supported him. You know, it was kind of strange. He was a corporate Republican in the sense that, you know, fiscally he sided with the Republicans, but he did push through a lot of policies to do with, you know, like gay rights and things.
Nothing wrong with that.
So he was not one of those Trump Christians, basically.
No, actually, I don't recall him ever saying anything about religion.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so he sided with the Republicans because it was good for his corporation, but, you know, he really was concerned about human rights.
Yeah, well, it's weird. A lot of these people don't realize that it's, you know, something I've gone off on people. You know, it's like, oh, I only like white people. It's like, yeah, a lot of us don't have like pure white families anymore. Get over yourself.
Right.
You know,
actually,
it's like,
I would expect that it's probably a fairly small minority of anybody who can claim that they're completely white anymore.
Exactly, but also it's like some of them are like, I don't like gays or anybody, and it's like, yeah, who doesn't have a gay member in their family now?
Yeah,
who doesn't have a trans member? You know, neighbor, friend, teacher.
Yeah, and that's why the social views on it are slowly changing, because more and more people are discovering that, you know, there's somebody who belongs to this group that they like, but, you know, they didn't find out until they'd known them for several years that they belong to some group they object to.
Yeah,
but
that's the problem, though. It's just like all these people think that other people live in a test tube.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, you have to be against. Why? Because that's a member of my family.
No.
And when you say that, you have other people who are like, oh, they're only the good people are in your family, right? It's like, no. You get people who are like, oh, well, you know, it's like, I have people of color in my family, but I don't have a problem with people of color anyway. But if you say, oh, I have people of color in my family, the other people will be like, yeah, they're the only good ones, right? And it's like, no, that's not the point I was making. Go fuck yourself.
There you are. Now, I may have spoken of this before, but I strongly suspect that one of my cousins is gay. But if he is, as long as I had any contact with any of those assholes, he was not out. And I suspect that, yeah, he may have basically remained in the closet because of the way the rest of those assholes. Remember, these are the assholes who dropped me on the floor when I came out as trans. But they have come around as far as the color barrier goes, because the niece of one of my cousins. Okay, one of my cousins took in her niece's kids.
Right.
The niece wasn't taking care of them, and all the kids were biracial. And that's the interesting thing that surprised the hell out of me, is because the male slimy bastard was a Nazi when it comes to
race,
racial discrimination. Yeah, race. But he loved those kids, like they were his own grandkids. He loved them more than he ever loved me.
Well, it's at least good to hear that he didn't hold it against the kids.
No, their grandfather held it against them.
All I know is, like I've played some MMOs and things like that, I was playing this one game, and there was a hurricane that was hitting Mexico. And they're like, "Oh, good." I'm like, "What do you mean, oh, good? I've got family there." And they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you were Mexican." It's like, I'm not. That doesn't mean I don't have family there, though, asshole.
Oh, God. These are the kind of people I would like to ignite. Yes.
And they're, "Oh, but it's like one of my half sisters. Her husband's from the area. My nephew's family is in that area. As far as I'm concerned, they're my family too. You don't wish death on." I am all for hating a government. You can hate I don't like the Russian government. I don't like the United States government. I don't like the Mexican government. There's so many governments I don't like. The people are fine.
Yeah.
The people are fine. There's no point in being, I don't like Mexicans. No, Mexicans are lovely people.
Well, there is one of the things I did not like about Michael W. Jones. I think you remember him, Fey.
Yep.
Because the Mexicans, they're all drug dealers. They're all
No,
criminals.
they're not.
Yeah, but this is what he's saying. And,
I know.
Fuck you, Jones.
Exactly.
God.
Exactly. When people talk, just, oh, well, this racial group is bad or that. No. Deep down, everyone just tries to get through their day, get through their lives with the least amount of bullshit as possible.
Yeah.
And the last thing anyone needs is to be like, "Oh, let's talk genetics." Fuck off.
Oh my. Yeah, that's I have to say it. I am thankful to him for some things, but I'm not sorry I'm not working with him anymore.
Fair enough. I didn't like him. So
that was obvious when you two went at it on the air that one day. Oh my word!
I made him rage quit his own program.
Yes, yeah.
And I wasn't even trying.
He pulled that down right after it was over. He's looking at me with,
I've heard that story,
really
but that was before I knew you.
I'm really, really sorry about the flack you had to deal with afterward.
Oh,
but
it's okay.
like
No, it's
when
fine.
when I got on there after he went the whole thing of like, I'm gonna mind read what Paul was thinking. It's this bullshit. You read somebody's mind? Even if you believe the person existed, whether they did or not is immaterial.
Yeah.
But to sit there and say, "Oh, I know what he meant by this," it's like, do you?
I don't know if this is the same show or if it was a second show. I know there were two shows. You remember the one where Graves was going on and on about psychiatrists are assholes and psychiatry?
I didn't see that one. No, I didn't see that one. I heard about it.
That was where my career ended. It was like, let me think now. The pig, frustrated Russ. He was on the air for that one, and there were a whole bunch of people in the side chat, and everybody's piling on him. And I'm just sitting back there because I basically agreed with all of them. And after the show's over, he's like, "Why didn't you defend me?" And he's like, "Dr. Jones, I didn't agree with you." And oh my God, the look on his face, it was shock, surprise, and it's like, hey, I don't always agree with everybody I work with, or any of my friends, relatives, any of it. And oh my God, he was, and then
he had a little bit of problem with hubris.
Yeah, and after all that,
for someone who's into the Bible.
Yeah, And after all that was over, it was basically, hey, Dr. Jones, I don't think I'm doing you guys any amount of good. Maybe I should take some time off. That was a couple Septembers ago, and I haven't been back. Now, when I was talking to Aaron about this in Kentucky, he said, I said, we had a bit of a falling out. I'm so sorry. I guess he still gets along with Aaron. Aaron gets along with him. But, I mean, that's those two. Fine. No problem. I won't hold it against either one of them.
Oh, Doorknob Head just came in.
Oh, Doorknob.
You really can't hold it against someone if they are friends with someone you don't like.
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
there's no point in that.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of people I don't like, and if I was like the type of person who's like, you have to choose sides.
Yeah,
I
well, you
wouldn't have
wouldn't
any
be talking to
fucking
me
friends
in that
at all.
Well,
what did you say?
You would not be talking to me in that case.
Yeah,
That's
pretty much.
true.
If anybody tells me I have to choose sides, I'll choose the one they're not on.
Exactly, because I think that's emotional blackmail and it's stupid.
Yep.
I mean, it disappoints me a little bit.
It's manipulation.
What disappoints?
It's not so easy to have you on the show anymore, but I get it. Okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, and it's fine, and I don't want to make it a big thing.
Yeah.
It's personal taste.
Yeah.
And anyone who enjoys someone I don't like, it's no skin off my teeth. I'm not going to be sitting there going, well, they're just platforming the wrong people. It's like, no. I'm allowed to be wrong. Other people are allowed to be wrong. If I don't enjoy something, I don't enjoy it. If I don't like someone, I don't like them. It's healthier for everyone involved. Can you imagine? I had this conversation the other day, or I should say the other week, where they wanted me to justify not liking a YouTuber and Twitter person that is very controversial. And I'm sitting there going, what do you mean? Well, give evidence of why it's not a good idea to be friends with this person or follow them. It's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to appreciate them and love them and blah, blah, blah. You can feel any way you want. You want my opinion, though? I think they're a waste of skin. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
And I don't like the guy. And I'm not going to like the guy. And there's no amount of let's argue the facts that's ever going to make me like the guy. I just don't like the guy. He's been rude to some of my friends. I've watched it. To me, that's a good enough reason not to like anybody.
There you go. Yeah, Doorknob Head. She was talking about Dr. Jones when you came in.
Oh, yeah. I made him rage quit his own show because I called him pathetic.
That was crazy. Oh, man.
You're going to sit there and tell me that you can read somebody's mind from that long ago because, in this whatever, this is what he was talking about and this is how he felt. Really? Because there's nothing in that verse that says anything about intention.
That was when he was, well, I should not say that was when he was going on. That was one of the many times he was going on about Ephesians 8, wasn't it?
I have no idea. I don't even know what Ephesians is.
It's one of Paul's letters.
Oh, probably. It was some sort of stupid Paul thing, and it was just like, well, this is what he meant. And it's like, really? Because, okay, hold my beer.
I don't know if that episode is there to be found anymore, Doorknob.
No, he took it down.
Yeah.
He rage quit and he deleted the videos and it was done. And then he yelled at you for 12 hours.
Oh,
and I felt really bad about that.
Oh, don't worry about that. No.
Because this guy is sitting there, blah 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 blah, as if you're responsible for my behavior. Fuck no.
Doorknob Head says he's afraid of you, Faye.
Well, he's gonna sit there and talk about classical literature and interpret it. Well, again, hold my beer. I fucking know a thing or two about like writing. I know a few things about literature. I have a degree in it.
I was going to say you took a degree.
I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh well, it's like trying to claim that Jackson Pollock actually was making like pictures of deer with his paint splatters. Well, if you look, the white in this picture looks like a stag's antlers. Fuck off!
Tate Berhojde. Oh, man,
Sorry, Purple. I didn't mean to scream. Fuck off.
You know what? I have to go look.
What's to apologize for? I put the disclaimer at the beginning of all my shows just for things like that.
I know, but it's not nice to do. No, but seriously.
Okay.
People who sit there. Well, Jesus actually meant this, even though he said that. And the writer of the Bible was like, and Genesis is no. First two paragraphs of the Bible in Genesis are written by two different people.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, basically, you have two completely separate creation stories that they tried to mash into one.
I think it's more than two.
Well, there's two very distinctive ones, but I've heard people say it's like 6.
It's kind of really, really obvious to the point where a Catholic nun was talking about it in literature class. So, come on.
For the heck of it, I went looking for stuff here, and I can get Jackson Pollock original drip painting on barn board from 1946, $8 million on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
It's listed as used. I wouldn't mind a Pollock on my wall, though. Get a print. Some of that stuff looks pretty good. I mean, especially when you've been drinking heavily.
Actually, over our couch, we had a like 4-foot by 5-foot canvas that was what my fiance had done a copy of a Jackson Pollock painting.
Oh my!
We had a Peter Max.
How do you copy a Pollock? This isn't. I understand how you could. Oh yeah, because I mean, I understand how you could do a copy of a Da Vinci or something like that.
No, this wasn't just the style. I wish I could remember the name of the picture. I never, had any art classes or anything, so I don't know a lot about it. But yeah, but it was pretty impressive,
We had an original Peter Max.
Okay.
He did a special painting for my aunt, and she had it on the wall.
See if I can find something here.
Yeah, I think that is who I think that. Yeah, if I remember correctly, my ex had a couple prints of Max.
Yeah, really interesting, unusual. I like his bouquets of flowers. And he did do, believe it or not, some stuff that was simple, but not many. He was brilliant.
Yeah, I was trying to find the Jackson Pollock one that my fiance had done. But
what I want to do eventually, and it's after I complete a whole bunch of the other stuff I want to do, I want to go back and re-get, if you will, some of the Escher prints I had, and were lost in a couple of the moves over the last, say, 10 years. I love Escher. I absolutely love Escher.
I love Beardsley.
I don't know if I'm familiar.
Um, Beardsley art was the reason why one of my English professors got divorced.
Oh.
Yeah. Some of it is literature themed, but absolutely ghastly. And she had some really ghastly Beardsley, and her husband said it's Beardsley's or it's me, and she went, bye-bye.
We'll give in.
Because that kind of ultimatum is shitty, and no one should ever put up with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if he said, I really don't like it, it makes me uncomfortable, maybe she would have stayed married to him, but giving her an ultimatum over, like, a wall decoration? Fuck off.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Well, no, I get what you mean. That just any kind of an ultimatum, there is something wrong with the relationship.
Yeah.
You should be able to discuss things.
Yeah, and, well, she had a lot of the themed literature ones, and some of them were absolutely horrific if you're really paying attention and you know what it means. Yeah, and I happen to love Beardsley, so when I heard that it was the reason for her divorce, I went, "Oh, I hope you've got a Beardsley. I would keep my Beardsley prints over anything." She was like, "I know, right?" But, like, some of them are absolutely horrible scenes, and you just sort of roll with it.
Well, I'm looking right now at the Dancer's Reward from Salome. Yeah, it's a little bit on the ghastly side there.
Hmm. But it's a wonderful style. It's a
Yeah.
great way to, um, you know, depict a scene. Some of it is absolutely, though, like, seriously fucked up.
I'm a little behind on the side chat,
But I like Beardsley, and I'm not going to stop liking Beardsley. I like Peter Max. I like Beardsley. There's a couple of them that I really love. But I even like the illustrator Quentin Blake. I like his style. I like the style of I like things that look like they're folios or prints, like etchings,
Mm.
as if they were drawn on a tin plate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, like, there's one particular Beardsley where someone's holding up a dead head, a bleeding dead head. It's actually lovely.
I'm wondering if, well, no, she's not exactly holding it. It looks like it's on a table. I mean, that's the sort of theme that you've got on the Dancer's Reward here.
Hmm. Oh, he covered a vast amount of really gory things. And a lot of it was from classic literature. So, you know, like Salome. It's a tragedy. It's
Mm-hmm.
Oscar Wilde. Beardsley made art for it.
yeah, well, this has gone on for more than 5 minutes, so you've exhausted my knowledge of art.
Oh, it's fine. I'm sorry. I'm just sort of
Oh,
like
no,
thinking hard.
I'm not saying you need to stop or anything like that. I'm just saying that I cannot add anything useful to this conversation.
Oh, it's fine. It's a weird subject, so.
Wolf beef.
But, someone might look at it and just say, oh, it's a black and white drawing with a lot of, like, ink and, oh, it's boring or whatever. And it's not boring to me, thanks.
No, I don't think it's boring. I just, I don't know anything about.
I know.
Even the famous paintings, it's like I may recognize the paintings, but I would not know which artist did them.
You might really like the artist Shag. Shagg. If you look at that and you Google image it, I mean, I love those pieces so much. He's got themes, he's got all kinds of things. I love his use of 1960s colors on some of the it's hard to explain, but his pieces are just so good. They look simple, they're not. And I love the way he draws cats. But the artist Shag is a really, unique and wonderful thing. And I love the death stuff he's done. I love the models that he's done. I love the cats that he's done. The parties that he's drawn.
Yeah,
I love his colors.
This first one I clicked on is like something about like them photographing a bunch of big cats and women in the in prints the same as the cats.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, maybe I'm on the wrong page here.
He did an art tribute thing for Disneyland rides, and they're hysterical. But his use of color and his use of perspective, absolutely great. And every painting is like a little short story. He's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, that's enough of my stupidness.
Доброжнее.
I don't know much about anything, but I know a little bit about the things that I like. And I like art.
Yep.
And I like books. And I like plants.
Well, it is
definitely not riveting subjects.
Well, I've never been nearly as visually oriented as most people, and I think probably a lot of that has to do with I probably needed glasses from a much younger age than I ever had them. So I don't think I ever developed the visual processing the way most people do.
I don't know anything about that. I think art, if it speaks to you, it speaks to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's the way I look at it. My mother was an artist. So.
It's like other types of art, though, that. But it is something I always feel I've kind of missed out on because I can see that other people can appreciate it a lot more than I can. And it just, I've always kind of felt I'm missing something there.
I can get wrapped up in the art in some anime. In some of the animes that I've watched, I notice when there's an art change, and then I'll lose my passion for the piece if they switch the art style. But if you have a 20 20-year-old anime that's still ongoing, of course you're going to have different art styles. For the people who actually make the anime. But when I saw it reflected in the manga, I got upset because to me they changed the racial background of one of the characters that way, and it was like, no, no, no. I was like so upset. But it's, to me, I notice little things like that, but I always have, and I don't think my vision is that much better than yours, hon. As I said, if it speaks to you, it speaks to you.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Well, I don't think it's the vision in quite the way that most people think of it. I think just because when I was a kid, everything was pretty blurry, that I don't think it really developed in my brain the same way it does for most people.
Okay.
And that's...
Are you that way with color in general, or?
Yeah, I can't really distinguish shades of similar colors.
Huh.
And I have a terrible case of facial blindness that I do not, even people that I have known for a long time, I will not recognize them if I see them someplace where I don't expect to see them.
I have facial blindness, but if I get to know someone very well, then I can recognize them. But if they change their hair,
yeah,
it's almost like, oh, okay. I kind of have to readdress how I recognize them.
Yep.
Because today when I saw the brother-in-law, he was sporting a beard, and I'm not used to that.
Oh. Well, we've been going about 3.5 hours.
Oh, is that all?
And I think we should probably wind this up here because I have to sleep and eat and do some other things and be back on Black Sofa's channel in about 12 hours.
And I have kittens to feed. They've been very quiet lately.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
No. They are asleep.
Yeah, I know. As long as you've got them in that bin so that they're someplace safe.
Well, if they were awake, I would take them out and play with them, but no.
Yep.
As I said, until they can go potty by themselves, if I'm asleep or occupied, they're going in that bin because I want to make sure that they learn what the litter box is.
Yeah.
And I got I hear them.
Yep, I just heard the squeak.
I hear them. Your brother's
The tiny
asleep.
mews.
Your brother's asleep. Go back to sleep. I'm right here. I will feed you in the morning. Yeah. You heard me talking, huh? You think your name is Kitten? Oh. I love their little furry faces.
Well, as I said, I will be co-hosting
For
Sofa's isolation chat in about 12
great.
hours here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm dropping a link for his channel.
Oh, that's great.
Make sure it doesn't break.
Okay. Do either of you have anything you want to plug before we go?
Nope. I don't.
Well, I'll let her do the plugging because I think I think Beth mentioned the way she said it sounded like she was going to do the advertising for the stream. So I'll leave that to her.
Okay, but yeah, she had said that'll be on Mindful's channel on Saturday at noon Mountain Time.
Move beef. Yeah, let's see how much. Let's see how much of a train wreck I can make that.
Okay, see, I knew it was time to wrap it up. Now Dave's here. Dave always shows up 3 minutes before I shut down the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest, you saw him show up and you're like, okay, it's been 3 hours.
No, you can check. I actually said about shutting down the stream exactly 1 minute before Dave's first comment in the side chat.
Maybe he was watching the whole time and he waits for you to say you're shutting down.
Yeah, must be.
Well, I think he may or may not have heard it or seen it, because at 4:25 a.m. he did a lull.
Ah.
You know, and that's what I mean. That was 3:25 my time, and it was 3:24 on my clock that I said I should start wrapping this up.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So wrap it up.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
I don't have anything
coming.
to plug, so.
Oh, well, and Amiga Nuts just went and plugged everything anyway.
Which is wonderful. Thank you, Amiga
Nuts. Amiga Nuts just dropped links for everybody's channels. So thank you. Okay, thank you, everybody. And like I said, I'll be on Black Sofas tomorrow, or I'll be back next Wednesday at noon or Thursday at midnight.
Sounds great.
So